So, how you guys doing?
We're doing all right. We missed you last week. We missed the respawn feedback.
Wasn't I here last week? Yeah, y'all had me here.
No.
Yeah. Well, you were here for roll call and raised your hand, but people didn't get the live stream screaming experience they're used to. So, were you really here? I mean, on paper, yes, but
Well,
T-Rex
that's right,
is sitting
because I was on
somewhere
the plane
going.
before you could describe the state of the game, huh?
Right. Yeah. Somewhere T-Rex is sitting here going, yeah, but I didn't get the full experience. I didn't get to hang out with Respawn on a Saturday morning while he screamed about the state of the game, and now I feel sad and it ruined. It just threw off his whole week. Noble was so distraught.
From what I understand,
he had to come on the show and confront you about it. He's like, "Listen, I have expectations here, sir."
T-Rex came on the show?
No.
Noble.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Noble.
They sound a little bit different.
Yeah.
You might actually get to hear a rant depending on what Noble says, because I understand Noble's got opinions, which means if he's got opinions, he's going to give me details, and if I get details, then I can. I can have strongly opinionated words.
Upset. Well, let me roll the titles and we'll come back.
You got it.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Night Demon, the pink-panted pansy Hiroti, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
So welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your
doing?
host, Night Demon. I'm here as usual, most weeks. Respawn is not flying this week. He's now back. Parody is with us again still. Until next week, of course, when he goes on holiday and he's leaving us.
When I'll be flying.
For 2 weeks. 2 weeks. For the entire time that the showcase is here, you're going to have to rely on me and Respawn to guide you through it.
Yeah.
But this week, I thought we'll bring on a guest. He's given a lot of opinions and a lot of chat in our Patreon chat. In our Patreon chat. So I thought we'd bring him on because he's got a lot to say about the state of the game and the game that was in a state before the state of the game. It's Noble. Welcome to the show, Noble.
Hi, thank you.
Good morning, or for you, good afternoon. Yeah.
Good evening and good night.
So, as Respawn does like to ask, what class do you play and why is it not a hunter?
In PvE, I will play whatever is needed of me. My preference is the one that can't jump.
Okay.
I'm not, a liar. Warlocks cannot jump. They can fall really good.
Well, with grace, yes.
Yeah, the Warlocks are like Buzz Lightyear. They don't fly; they just fall with style.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in PvP, I'll only ever play a hunter because there's just so much more fun in PvP.
I love a man that knows his limitations.
So, do you approve of our guest, Respawn?
I mean, yeah, I've played with Noble many times. Noble's dragged me through stuff that, I wouldn't have done by myself.
Noble is a very good PvP player, and he does a lot for charity, don't you, Noble? We did a charity stream a while back, and you've got another one planned coming up.
I do have another one planned coming up, yeah. November the 11th, I'm doing another one.
Okay. And what's that for?
That is for a UK-based charity called Help for Heroes, which is, it's pretty much, it gives help to people with mental rehabilitation out of any sort of forces, whether it be, Army, Navy, RAF, anything like that.
Yeah.
Mental rehabilitation or physical rehabilitation. So, like, Help for Heroes help with, how do you say it? Rehabilitation of the body. So, like when people are learning how to walk again after losing a leg to an IED or something like that.
That can be.
Yeah, physical therapy.
Yeah, physical therapy. That's the words I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm sure we can remind people the closer that we get to your live stream and your charity run. So, yeah.
So how many of Night Demon's children does he have to shepherd through a raid in this one?
Oh, that was such a good stream, though, man. That we need to do that again. That was so entertaining. The saxophone was the best part. You can't script that kind of thing, you know. That's why kids are great. You know, I know a lot of people out there like, they can't stand kids or whatever. But you know what? The randomness that children introduce into your life cannot be underexplained. You know, like if you enjoy a spot of chaos, right? You have kids, right? For example, never mind. Y'all don't want to hear that. My kid did something so disgusting. My wife was just like, "Grow up."
So, Noble, are you a PvP player or a PvE player? What is your?
I am
a Gambit player.
Yeah,
I am a PvE player. I do love a bit of Gambit. Gambit is fantastically fun. I like the mix that Gambit gives you. I like the enemies aren't soft and squishy, but then again, they're not ridiculously overpowered either that you have to play back a lot. But it's the fact that you can play all that and you can think you're an absolute god, and then all of a sudden, like you think you're on a really good run, like your screen goes red and the invader turns up and you're dead, and you think, yeah, brilliant, thanks.
So Gambit, I mean, I enjoy Gambit. I keep saying this to people. I don't mind Gambit. I don't hate it like all these other people do, because it's the closest thing to a horde mode that we have. You know, I wish we didn't have the PvP aspect. I'm not really a fan of that. You know, but I do quite enjoy the horde mode of it. You know, and after playing Gambit PvP, there's a game that came out that I played with my son called
Squirrel!
Exo Primal. I think it's called Primal Exo.
Yeah.
It's basically Gambit with dinosaurs, right? And I was like, that sounds pretty cool, right? And I got this big samurai mech dude, right? And I thought it was gonna be fun. But they don't throw nearly as many things at you that Gambit does.
Yeah.
Like you have, there's 12 raptors, ew. Oh, there's one T-Rex, ew. It's just it's not as good as Gambit. I know that's a weird thing to say, right? And I was expecting it to be like a better version of Gambit, because in like one of the scenes I was watching, on the game's channel, they just had raptors raining from the sky and coming down this tower like a torrential downpour. And I was like, that is a freaking that is a horde mode right there, right?
Yeah.
But when you get the game, it's nothing like that, right? Like you get maybe a third, maybe a fourth of what Gambit throws at you,
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe if I hadn't played Gambit, maybe it would have been more fun because other people like it. But after having played Gambit, it's just like, this isn't enough. Throw more things at me. I'm still alive.
Honestly, with the way things are these days, if I want to play something like Gambit, I play Killing Floor 2.
Play what?
Killing Floor 2.
I don't know what you're saying. Killing Lotto?
Killing Floor 2.
Killing Floor.
The Killing Floor.
Yeah.
I honestly had the same experience with Exo Primal, because I think it was you who mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and I went and looked at videos on it, and was like, I had the same experience going, I had one expectation, and it is not that at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wants to be Gambit, but it's not. I've yet to play the Fortnite version of Gambit.
Yeah. And the thing about it is they tried like the visuals are so beautiful in the game. That's what really caught me. Just the visuals are stunning in this game. I mean, it's a beautiful game. But when you get in there, and I played for like 30 hours, thinking that maybe I'm still in the prologue version of the game, because all I can do is this version of Gambit, right? And the only difference is they say, hey, do you want to do PvP, PvE, or random? Woo! Right? And all that means,
or PvP.
Yeah. All that means is the first part is always the same. You always fight the dinosaur quote horde mode, right? It's always the same. But the difference is at the end, are you fighting the other team or just a big dinosaur? That's the only difference, dude. Right? And that's the whole game, because like I never got past that thing. Like could you introduce other modes, like maybe an actual horde mode or something like that? Because like there's just not enough in there, And whatever, man. Gambit spoiled us.
I'm really disappointed, because I'd been looking at Exo Primal and really contemplating buying it.
Don't, dude, don't.
Yeah, that's why I'm at the point now where I'm like, this looks like a thing. Let me go watch someone on Twitch playing it, or go look up some YouTube videos and see what it's actually like. Because I've bought too many games that were promised as one thing, and I get them, and I'm going, well, where's the thing you showed me?
Yeah,
where's
the
the thing you
level
sold
up
me
system.
on?
The level up system is terrible. Your mech upgrades are stupid. This is the only game on Steam I've ever asked for a refund. That should tell you something.
Well, it is free on Xbox Game Pass.
It's free. Yeah, there you go.
It's in the Game Pass. You can try it.
Oh, that's all right. Actually, I could try it out then because it's free on Game Pass.
It just came out and it's free.
Yeah, but there's a lot of games that come straight out that are free on Game Pass.
Yeah, but are they good games that come out free?
Good.
Yeah.
Some of them are, yes. I mean, High on Life.
Everybody.
High on Life went straight
I'm
onto
sorry,
Game Pass.
I apologize. I assumed if it was already free, then it's because it's bad.
No, it's because Microsoft bought everyone, and they're like, well, let's put yourself on Game Pass. Will you make money? No, not really, but you'll make Microsoft money, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
And presumably somebody out there will buy things.
The only good thing about playing the Gambit version on Fortnite is that you can buy the skins to be Zavala, Ikora, or the Stranger. So you can technically play Gambit in Fortnite.
As Zavala.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fortnite's still a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sir, Fortnite has never not been a thing.
Fortnite will never not be a thing.
We're going to be long dead, and Fortnite will be on season 427, and they're like, listen, we'll beam the chips directly to your eyeballs for the new season. Just wait. On Tuesday, you'll be all set.
It won't even be Fortnite by the time we're dead. It'll be month.
No.
And 2 months.
Some of my friends that play Destiny is like, dude, have you heard of Baldur's Gate? I'm like, oh yeah. It's like, what do you think? He's like, is it gonna be the same as Destiny? I'm like, no.
What?
He goes, what do you mean? I was like, you ever play D&D? He goes, no. I'm like, well, it's digital D&D.
Yeah.
Have fun.
if you picked up Baldur's Gate because somebody told you it was like Destiny, somebody lied to you. Somebody lied to you.
I like it because I like that. I like D&D, right? But if you're not into that kind of thing, if you're into looter shooters, it's not. If you're into hack and slashers, it's not.
Yeah, no. Baldur's Gate is not. If you enjoy Borderlands, you will not enjoy Baldur's Gate necessarily. They are very different things. You could enjoy both of them, but they are not the same.
Hold on, Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is in freaking
Fortnite. Yes.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
You clearly do not have a child or nephew of the proper age to give you a guided tour of their massive collection of Fortnite skins. Everything is in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest kid is 16 and in college, and my youngest one is 4 and does not care about video games. So no, I've missed the what was it called again? The Fortnite window. The Fortnite window. I missed the Fortnite window. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my nephew is 10, and I got the guided tour of all of his Fortnite skins, particularly all of the Star Wars stuff that they just released.
Oh my god! Wait, Disney let that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's money. Fortnite generates all the money. Like there is everything. There's a whole Turtles tie-in with the new movie that just came out. Which, minor tangent, I can say the words Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack scored by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Really?
In the year of 2023, and that's a sentence that makes sense in real life.
Hold on, there's a new Ninja Turtles movie?
19, we are going to go all the way off the rails. We are not going to touch on Destiny. This is instead of variety streamers, we're going to become a variety podcast starting right now. Apparently,
how do you not know that there's a new Turtles film?
This is what it sounds like.
It's animated.
To get started on the state of the game because I thought he had feelings and opinions on it, and it's like, no, we're going to talk about the Teenage
We will eventually get. Don't even act like you're not going to cut 90% of this out. All right, you're going to put a little bit at the end for the people that listen after the credits, but most of this is gone.
Sorry, if I've got to listen to this, other people have got to listen to this.
If I have to suffer, so do you. That's not a way to. That's not a way to treat your. I wasn't going to say customers, but your listeners.
Well, to be fair, I am a customer. I'm a Patreon.
This is a reminder.
I'm starting to feel now like this is what I pay for to hear someone say, "No, if I have to listen, so do you."
Yeah.
See, the patronage is not so much a benefit; it's more of a punishment. This is Night Demon forcing you to experience what he has to experience.
It's okay because there is one thing I'm gonna throw in there right now. It's like it's nice to be invited onto the show because now I can say in front of everybody, Night Demon.
Yeah.
When we're getting merch.
Oh.
I've been waiting so long.
You hassle me nearly every time that I'm on stream, and yeah. Anyway, state of the game.
No, not state of the game.
State of the game. So, as you and Respawn have got opinions on the state of the game, I thought we might as well kind of continue our conversation that we had last week, because you've heard from Parody, you've heard from me, and you heard from Sevs last week. So you've got two more opinions to be thrown at you, Bungie. So, Noble, Respawn, take it away.
Am I a Noble Respawn? That's got a nice ring to it. You know, if you put Noble in front of my name. Or Regal. King Respawn. Yo.
That's worse than the Hunter Vanguard thing.
I mean, you say that, but I like it a lot. I mean, come on, just imagine King Respawn. Woo! Puts chills down my spine.
So, Noble, you did have some opinions on the state of the game, which you did voice in our Patreon chat. But if you want to go over them and let people know, or let Bungie know, what your actual feelings are on the different topics that they came out with in the state of the game.
Like the state of the game for PvE, I don't actually mind anything that they've said because it was basically not a great deal, other than you're not going to get a new set of armor.
Okay.
Which doesn't really bother me because the armor's... I mean, how many of us ever use that armor? Even as an ornament, how many of us genuinely ever use that armor?
What armor?
Anything that you get from the Vanguard, Crucible,
anything
Gambit.
that's not in Eververse.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely not. No. Why?
Yeah, exactly. So them saying...
Eververse or a dungeon or raid.
Yeah, so them saying, you're not going to get a new set of armor. I'm like, well, the stats are always trash, so who cares?
Yeah.
The looks, I can't honestly say I've gone through, even since Transmog, and thought, oh, look at that Vanguard chest piece. That's really nice. I'm going to get that. No, nobody has said that. Everybody's looked and gone like that. Oh, look, this chest piece from... I mean, I don't know. I love the Leviathan chest piece for the Warlock. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, look, you've got the Leviathan chest piece for the Warlock. Yeah, I'll have that. And, you're not going to pick the Vanguard chest piece over the Leviathan chest piece. You're just not going to do it. I don't care who you are.
And, to be honest, people's standards aren't that high. I mean, Titans wore a broken airplane helmet for years, I
forgot about
that. So it doesn't take much to impress people.
No, it doesn't. No, but it just that didn't bother me all that much. Nothing PvE really bothered me all that much.
So you weren't bothered about the strike scoring? Is that not a plus thing, or?
I don't mind the strike scoring. Take it or leave it. Either way, I'm still going to speedrun a strike and get it out of the way as quickly as I can because it's still going to be a strike.
It's a strike, yeah.
What about a GM though?
A GM, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, we've already got scoring in GM, so it's not going to make that big of a difference.
But I thought they changed the scoring though in the GMs. Now the time actually matters, which I'm not a fan of.
Well, I mean, the time's always mattered anyway because if you've gone over X time, then it takes your revives off you.
Yeah. But is it not that kind of visual thing that they had like with the Guardian games where you see the down the side of the screen or along the bottom of the screen, all these medals and things go popping off and you get quite excited by that? I think that's what they're trying to hone in on for the strike and the Nightfall scoring.
I'd be happier.
That excitement part of it.
I'd be happier is if they took that score system and they took it because it spawns right in the middle of your screen, and if they put it off to the left or the right, that'd be fantastic. But there's nothing worse than when you're sat in a GM and you've killed 4 things that are, realistically just trash mob things, like a couple of Thrall or something like that. And it goes ding, 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 and it shows them all on your screen, and then all of a sudden there just happens to be I don't know, an Acolyte just sat there with a sniper rifle that then just one-shots you. And it's like, brilliant. I couldn't see him because apparently I'd killed free-for-all.
I mean, now you know where he's at next time.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they train the acolytes. They're training them to stand behind the UI elements on our HUD, so we can't see them. They're like, listen, you want to stand here. I can't explain to you why, but you're going to stand right here.
But I mean, you can adjust the opacity, right? So I mean, if you can't see things behind your HUD, make it more invisible.
You can, yes, but it's just move it off to the side.
Yeah,
I mean, the left side of the screen gets full up with just all these random buffs, debuffs, and
it's still not even enough room, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. There's still not enough space there for all the buffs and debuffs that you can have, and yet, the right hand side of your screen has nothing going on it whatsoever. It's just dead space. See you later.
They should have like the nerfs on the left hand side because left-handed people, you get bad stuff, and the buffs should be on the right hand side. That way, at a glance, you can see just how many buffs and nerfs you have on different sides of the screen.
And even like I said, even your kill feed, just put the kill feed off to the side, or just put it across the top and have it like scroll. So
you could also actually, if you think about it, you could also potentially put all your buffs and debuffs in the kill feed too, and they can just open it up to see what's going on and close it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
the thing is, it could actually be from a design perspective where people read from left to right. It could be because if they put something that's constantly clicking away, your eye is going to be drawn to that point, and then that's going to detract from the actual game. That's why if they put it over on the left, it's not as offensive.
But that's again, that'd be okay then with the buffs and the debuffs. But what I mean, does it really matter if you see the kill feed? I mean, are you really going to be in a GM and going, I killed the acolyte, not you? Who cares who killed the acolyte? It's dead. You know what I mean? And I just get rid of it from the middle of the screen. It's just annoying. It's the only thing that I think I'd want to change is that when it comes to GMs and scoring and then them putting more things onto that screen.
We have an argument from the show that says that is a lie. Season 1 chest armor Titan is peak fashion, and it shows a Titan with what can only be considered as pubic hair on his shoulders and neck area. So apparently that is the height of Titan fashion.
Is that not the Cinder Pinion set?
The one that looks like Devastation Complex and Phoenix battle ornaments and stuff like that from PvP. The binary Phoenix suit and stuff like that. That's got all the fluff around the top, which
Yeah, the Phoenix battle ornament is the one that's got the fluff around the sides, isn't it?
These are furries confirmed.
That's when I think armor sets actually looked really good. They actually did put a lot of effort into the armor pieces.
When was the last time that much effort went into a free armor piece?
Yeah,
and I mean, you can say that looks really good all you want. But again,
you say free armor pieces, but isn't Iron Banner free, right? And you've got freaking hunters literally turning into wolves with the big furry wolf heads and stuff like that, right? Hunters can get pretty furry too. I don't know about the other two classes, but there's a lot of fluff in Iron Banner. Yeah,
but that's Iron Banner again, though. It's not.
But
the
it's
Vanguard
play.
Yeah, but it's not the Vanguard playlist, Crucible one or Gambit. They're the ones that I was sort of getting at. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wear any of that. Iron Banner armor's always been nice.
Yeah. So it's only those two that are going away. Iron Banner is going to keep making stuff happen.
I mean, I believe so.
Well, they sort of didn't. I mean, they didn't really say. I think they did say, well, we're getting another armor set. PvP, they were like, yeah, we're going to get new things, but they didn't really make a lot of hard and fast, like when and what and how many's. Like, yeah, you're getting a new map, new mode, a new modifier with this season, but then it's like, and then a new Iron Banner game type, but they didn't say anything else beyond that. I mean, Iron Banner is meant to be sort of, well, at least when it started out, was end game PvP, but not like high level. There's trials that's like end game boss level PvP, and then Iron Banner was meant to be like end game PvP for the casuals, and now they've made it very casual.
Yeah.
So like
it was
I feel
sort
like
of mid-game.
Yeah, I mean, and they still are clearly using Iron Banner as where we're going to test things out. That's where they're building new modes for. That's where the new modes are starting largely. Granted, we're getting Relic and
Checkmate.
Thank you, in this next season.
So
I
looking
mean,
forward to
the
that.
investment is still there in Iron Banner, but as far as the armor and stuff goes,
You say that though, but there is another mode coming in Iron Banner, didn't they say that as well?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
Iron
they said
Banner
we're getting a
specific
new
mode,
Iron Banner
wasn't it?
game type. Yeah.
So we're going to get another mode in PvP. I mean, Noble, what are your thoughts, and Respawn, I guess, what are your thoughts on the PvP and the Gambit kind of feedback that Bungie gave us in the state of the game?
I mean, if I start with the PvP one, then I'd say, you got no new maps, but I mean, honestly, you've got a couple of new game modes coming. Do you honestly think that they just fell over game modes and like tripped them and like, oh, look, a game mode. Oh, there you go. I mean, it's taken them months to sort out a new game mode and structure it and be able to try and find a balance for it and everything else.
And there's 2 of them.
Yeah,
and this Checkmate, I'm sorry, but actual gunplay focused game style, gameplay, whatever, in PvP. Oh my god, is it about time that happened? And I'm sorry, but lots of people have been asking for that for a long time. Actual gunplay focused since probably year 2, so Forsaken onwards. I've been saying that, in my opinion, PvP should go back to how it was in Destiny 1. Energy ammo and heavy ammo should be on a wall and you should have to fight for it. There should be no, you're spawning in with energy ammo. No, put it on the wall. That's where it is. If you want it, go fight for it.
See, I know I keep saying this, but I'm such an advocate of it. But like, if they would just open it up to the players, it would solve all these issues, man. You know, open up the UI. You want guns only? You want gunplay activity? Cool. Make a custom game, right? You can even make it ranked so other people can join in if they want to, right? Make a custom game mode where you have no supers, no abilities, none, right?
Anti-mayhem.
Yeah, anti-mayhem, right? You only have guns. Oh, that's not good enough? Okay, you only have melees, you know? Or you can only have a primary weapon, or you can only have a heavy weapon, or you can only have a special weapon, right? Open it up to the players, man. You don't even need dedicated servers, T-Rex. Just open it up to the players. They just need to open it up so players can make their own stuff, you know? This would solve a lot of problems. You want a new map? Cool. Give them the ability to make their own maps. You know, you want to change game modes instead of coming up with all these game modes. Let people do it. People come up with their own game modes all the time. You know,
build the forge from Halo and Destiny.
Yeah,
whatever that is. Yeah, sure.
That's exactly what you're doing. That's what this was in Halo, where you could build your own maps and do all this stuff in Halo. Was called the Forge.
Yeah,
so,
and let people do their stuff, dude. You know, obviously it's been done. Hell, it's been done by this company. If what you're saying is correct, it was. But you said Halo, right? Halo was Bungie, so it's even been done by this company before. Do it again. Yeah, it worked. It was amazing. That's why your game was successful for 30 years. You know.
Do you think though this is something that they're either building into the game for the final shape, or it's going to come after the final shape? Now, I think people would lose their minds if it came final shape, but I think if they announce it at the showcase to say that a Forge mode is coming, but it's going to come after the final shape, do you think people will, one, stick around for the game? Because I've been hearing a lot of people saying like they signed on for the 10-year experience, and once kind of final shape hits, they're kind of out of here. And a lot of people were like saying, oh, well, you know, if they pull it out of the bag and impress me, I'll stick around. So do you think if they do something like this, it will save a lot of the kind of the PvP side of the players wanting to stick around, or do you think it's a little too late?
If they do PvP. The changes they've discussed already? If they do that, if they implement that, or what?
No, if they implement a Forge.
If they do what
you're absolutely. Hell, I would play more PvP if they had a Forge. Absolutely, man. I would go in there, no abilities, guns only. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I am all about that Call of Duty experience, dude. Hell yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that new game mode. That once it's got this Checkmate in there. Yeah, I am so looking forward to that. That sounds like it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Like, bring that on now. Give me it.
And normally, I have to I have to drag you kicking and screaming into PvP like I'm
Yeah.
Banner, and you're actually looking forward to
No.
a PvP game.
Yeah.
But no, if they had a game on like that where I could, we could adjust, like, no supers, no abilities, guns only. We can make our own stuff, make our own maps. Dude, I would be one of those people making the maps just all the time, just like psychotic maps that are shaped
Just
like
messing about.
cartoon characters and
You know
stuff.
what? I think a lot of people would be making the maps. You'd see content creators like Fallout, Cool Guy, Aztecross, Frostbolt. They'd all be creating their own kind of PvP maps to say, right, this is a good map for kind of flanking. This one's a good one for sniping, and showing people, the best places to kind of stand and things on their own maps. They'd be building their maps and showing you how to play the maps. I think it would be endless content.
And even on the one map, they would have. I mean, a good map is going to have elements of all three of those, right? This is where you have your sniper lane, right? If you go into the octagon, quote the octagon, this is going to be your CQC area, right? And then these alleyways are going to be your mid range, right? So a good map is going to have elements of all of them. And just having these content creators, like you said, creating these maps that are just going to be probably great for the community in general. I mean, Bungie could, if they just gave us the access, we would do it ourselves, and that game would never die.
I mean, point in case, how many hundreds upon thousands of people spend hundreds upon thousands of hours making things in Minecraft?
Yeah,
and I mean, in Halo's Forge, I would get together with Halo Forge, and we would find random maps, and that's the thing that also you could do anything that was in that game. So you want Sparrow Racing League back? Bungie, build a map, grab your Sparrow, set it to SRL mode or whatever, and then you can build your own Sparrow Racing League maps. And before we go too far from it, I just want to mention that Checkpoint is a modifier, so we could have Checkpoint Iron Banner, Checkpoint.
What does that mean?
Mayhem, not Checkpoint, Checkmate. Checkmate is a modifier, so it's not like you're going to go into the Crucible and say, give me the Checkmate. There's Iron Banner, there's Rumble, there's Checkmate. It's a modifier. So like we have Control and Iron Banner control and Momentum control, you could have Checkmate control. Checkmate Rumble.
What does Checkmate mean?
Checkmate's the primary ammo.
It's the gunplay focused game mode that we've been talking about.
Oh,
it's not a mode you'll go into in the game. It's a way to modify the existing modes. So my point is, it'll be available in multiple places. It's not like there is one Checkmate game you go into. You could make anything. Basically, you could take anything in the game, any PvP experience, and make it a Checkmate Checkmate modifier, which is the gunplay focus mode. So
now, when you say gunplay focus, does that mean there's no abilities, or does that mean the guns just hit really hard?
No, the abilities are slowed, aren't they? So, if you've got a 10-second dodge on your hunter, instead of it being a 10-second dodge, it might be a 15-20-second dodge.
Yeah, Bungie says
your abilities are slower.
Yeah, Bungie says your player health is increased.
Oh.
The primary damage is tuned to feel different without being jarring, and all ability cooldowns are longer, and you have to earn special ammo from gameplay, and it's not dropped on death.
What?
So it's basically it's bringing that to their point, and that's why they're bringing it in this next season. We'll have Checkmate Control for 2 weeks, Checkmate Survival for 2 weeks.
That sounds really fun, actually.
Right?
Yeah. So it's not just like a single mode. You go in and go play Checkmate. It's you play Checkmate something. It's a modifier for an existing game mode. Which, if this goes well, which I don't see how it can't, because again, people like you, Noble, has said, like we've all said, people have been asking for this since like year one, day one of Destiny 2, when people wanted to play this competitively. This is what people have been asking for.
Yeah.
So this is the way there. They don't have to build a whole mode around it. They can just say we can basically apply this rule set to the existing PvP experiences and make them gunplay focused.
And this is the old COD player in me, but like instead of having the abilities you said on super slow cooldowns, it should be not damage focused but kill focused, right? Hey, I just killed you, now I get my dodge, right? Now I killed 2 more people or another person, now I get my grenade. I've got a 5 kill streaks. I got a super, right?
Yeah, so like bring not so much a care package, but like in Call of Duty where you used to earn a care package, instead of a care package you could have a super.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting about special ammo, because they're saying special ammo must be earned via gameplay. It is not dropped on death. So again, they haven't explained how. So it may be, hey, you go get 5 kills in a row, and now you get special ammo, or now it's available for you to pick up
in
or
your
something.
inventory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're playing to earn it, and their goal is to have those, have it be more gunfight focused, not just, oh, I can spam abilities or do this, and now we're back to where we started. It's grab your guns and outplay people with skill.
Mm-hmm.
See, and Checkmate and Relic are both going to be in the Crucible labs, so it's going to be things that they'll be looking at, and maybe on player feedback or just looking at it, adjusting it. So it might turn into a completely different mode if it comes to the Crucible in like Iron Banner or something. But for like the however many weeks of the season, it's going to be Relic for 4 weeks, and then you've got Checkmate for 6, and then you've got Relic running out the rest of the season. So we've got plenty of weeks to go in there and test them, which is quite nice. And you've still got like your Crucible rotators and your Relentless rotators up at the same time. So people saying, or people complaining that there's not that much in Crucible, you've got a rotator, you've got a Relentless playlist, you've got a labs, you've got Trials or Iron Banner up for whatever week it is, and you've constantly got Rumble up, you've constantly got Control up. So there is so much to do in Crucible. Just I don't know, I know about the maps, but I don't know why people are getting upset to say that Bungie aren't putting effort into Crucible.
Yeah, that's a complete lie. They are. The effort has gone in, like we said, giving us this, not game mode modifier, but that is a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work that they've put into that. It's just a lot of people crying without cause, in my eyes. You've read the little bit that you wanted to pay attention to, which is no new map, and you've just thrown your dummy out.
And
I
there's
get
a new
that.
map. Let's not forget there is a new map coming.
Yeah, there is. But there's only one. So
yeah,
hey, it's one more that Gambit's gotten in his lifetime.
That's what they explained at the state of the game. They said the studio wasn't set up for this, or it isn't set up for this. But they didn't say, or did not say, that going forward we will try and adjust it. I think they're waiting for how it goes, I guess. And the same with Gambit, like we said last week. If you want to see improvements in Gambit, you're going to have to drag your ass and get into Gambit and play Gambit in the state that it is in. And according to a lot of people, even before this state of the game, it was in a good place. It's a really good game mode. It's a lot less sweaty people in there decimating you if you went in there solo. And it felt a lot better. I mean, even Perry said so many times, it felt a lot better from when they adjusted it to like recently. So it's a good game mode. It's just been forgotten about because the community don't want to be forced to go in there and play it and get the challenges and triumphs done.
Do you know what I think one of the problems with Gambit is? And this is one of the reasons I avoid everything, and I know you hate the fact that I avoid it all. But I honestly, one of the biggest problems I think with Gambit is the community are too busy listening to other people's opinions to cast their own. If you go onto any sort of social media, and if you even whisper the word Gambit, everybody points and laughs. Just play PvP, or just go play PvE. Everybody points and laughs
PvP.
at Gambit.
It's the horde mode that makes Gambit fun, man.
It's the essence between the two of them and the horde mode, as you say, that makes it fun. But you go anywhere on any sort of social media, and everybody mocks it. And then, unfortunately, this game has got too many sheeple playing it that listen to everybody else's sort of opinion, as opposed to casting their own.
Yeah, don't listen to us then.
Well, don't listen to you guys.
Yeah,
but
no,
you know what I'm saying.
But no, truly, no, don't listen to us. Yeah. If you're like, no, let me go play it and it's trash, then fine, have it be trash. But it's funny whenever I see a creator, and that's the other thing. It's a self-reinforcing thing of, Fallout makes his, I suffered through 50 games of Gambit video. It's like, but you still had an objective each time. You still wouldn't play it. I go hunting, and actually I've got 2 videos this week, which may not help the love of Gambit, because it's one of them is a speed run, and one of it is a Gambit experience from the 0.1%, which is again someone just building a kit to go in and lay waste to Gambit, which is phenomenal. Which honestly is just you could bring this into PvE and just lay waste to things. But no, I 100% agree with you. It's the people who do make, and that's the thing, no one makes content on it, because there is this such negative, like, why would I even bother? Why would I even do this?
It does. It
But
has
then
such
I
a
see people
negative
making
following.
things, and it's like, oh, I really enjoy this. Oh, it's actually in a good spot. Oh, it's actually fun just to go in and play it casually. Go play a casual PvP or a PvE thing with a twist and go, hey, I can lay waste a thing and feel. I mean, you want a power fantasy in this game? That's where it lives in Gambit. Gambit is that power fantasy. You're like, I want to go up and run up that score and get 70 kills, 80 kills, 90 kills in a Gambit match and see that on the board at the end. That's your power fantasy.
Yeah, it really is. Gambit is so much fun. It had so much potential, but because it didn't meet the criteria of so many people that put out videos on a daily basis, and just spend their life sat on Twitter as well, and other social media aspects, that it just got so destroyed before it had a chance to become anything massive. And because, like I said, everybody just sits on the social media and pay too much attention to what everybody else says instead of forming their own opinions, it just died before it had a chance to take off.
Do you think that the Revelry and the Gambit Prime should have stuck around?
Yes.
Reckoning,
sorry.
Yeah, I knew which one you meant, but yeah, I do. Yeah, Reckoning was absolutely amazing fun. I loved that. I mean, you want to talk a hard mode? Who was it? Any of them, to be fair. When you had to build the bridge and cross the bridge, and you had to sit there defending it. How much fun was that? I absolutely loved that.
The thing is, they could have left it in the game and given it different weapons and different armors to be rotated in and out, and it could have still been used as a game mode.
You could have.
It didn't necessarily have to be. You have to go in there and get the Gambit Prime armor, even though that was a good place to go and. That was the only place to go and get it, but it was a good place to go and get your armor and your weapons from.
And you could get some amazing rolls on that Gambit Prime armor.
Yeah.
And you know what? You could have left it there, and then all these people that are still playing your game could have gone, played it, got the armor, and then unlocked the ability for transmog instead of just putting it in the bin and forgetting about it.
Respawn, what's your view on Gambit?
I've already said it. I enjoy Gambit for the horde mode. The PvP, I could live without, honestly. The PvP does not affect me, and in some cases, actually. But yeah, I mean, if Gambit was just like a horde mode where you race to put in resources faster than the other people, I'd be happy with that. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take Gambit either way. I don't mind the PvP aspect sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, it's annoying. Sometimes, well, it don't bother me. But it depends, because like I say, sometimes you're having that really good game and you feel like you're absolutely invincible. Then that invader comes in and he absolutely destroys your heart and soul.
Or you get that one guy that doesn't pay attention, and then he's giving up your team's resources all the damn time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts.
Which is kind of a problem of going in without a stacked team. You always run that risk. But I mean, you run the self and same risk going into Nightfalls.
Right.
You always run the risk of going into a Nightfall, and then Mr. Blueberry over here decides that he wants to come in and, well, my build works with this and this, but I haven't got anti-barrier and I haven't got unstop and I haven't got overload. But it's okay. You can do that.
I think the best time in Gambit is when you have the armors that literally changed the way you played the game and how the game worked.
The prime armor, where you had the collector.
The armor was so amazing, dude. Not just the collector, but like the armor where like you become the thing that closes their bank.
Yeah,
right?
The invader did that, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then you had the what was it? The guy that sat on the bank, and then there was the collector and
Sentry.
Yeah, there you go. I can't remember the name of them all.
Yeah,
but it was so much fun to play.
Yeah, the invader armor. Once you invaded, it locked their bank immediately.
Yeah,
you could go invade and then just like pop a bubble, hide in a corner, and their bank is locked. You could just hang out if you wanted to and have them come to you. The collector could pick up 20 mil and send.
And then you could see them on the map,
massive.
which is something that I'm mad they took away. You could see where they all were on the map. You
can still see where everyone is on the map. You just can't see how many motes they have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you get the moat count anymore.
Great changes in Witch Queen that didn't move the counter. Yeah, and like the collector, you could collect 20 motes and then send a massive blocker to the other side.
Which was dumb because the massive blocker always seemed to have less health.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like for the longest time, the medium blocker was the way to go because they were the better champion.
All the shields, all the
than the
shield
large.
generating they did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Yeah, it's like-
stupid.
What I'm getting from this is that we should have kept Gambit Prime.
Yeah, we
I
should.
think so.
Gambit
I really
Prime.
liked it, man. People gave it crap, but the armor was amazing. It looked amazing. The glow was amazing. The effects were amazing. You know, and they didn't just give it to you. You had to earn it. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't just get the
You'd
effect
rank it
to
up.
become the thing that closed the bank. No, you had to earn that crap. You know, you had to play.
Had to have X amount of pieces of the armor on, didn't you, and everything to unlock.
Yeah, you had to have
Right.
at least 4
You
pieces.
know, certain perks.
Right. And just like the events where you have, just like our event that just ended, you have the crummy version, then you have the better, you upgrade it, you have the better version. It wasn't just go get your armor and done. You got your armor, then you had to upgrade it to the second and then third tier of that armor to do all the effects, and it would show you the unlocks. Oh, this once you have, at this level, it'll give you this perk and this perk. Oh, but then to lock the bank, you need to upgrade it all the way. Otherwise, it just, it had a whole set of perks behind it. And this is where I'm really curious where we go after the final shape. Because if Bungie's plan is sort of a, like they did with Destiny 1, sort of give you everything, set the game on autopilot and go, then you're going to need to give us more if that's the plan. Like, now if there's another 5 or 10 year plan after the final shape, and you're going to continue to actively build this game, go how you're going. I guess we'll see how it pans out. But if it's sort of a set it and forget it mode, which it definitely sort of feels like, again, we're at the end of a 10-year thing. So anything they do have planned for year 11, we're not going to see a glimpse of until after the final shape. But, what state are we going to be in? Because if we're putting this on autopilot, then
We'll be in Florida.
You're going to need to give us more.
The thing is, I see this, like you just mentioned, SRL was in Destiny 1, and it was one of those game modes that a lot of the people in the community actually loved and wanted it in Destiny 2. And they were like, no, it'll cost too much, resources to bring it into Destiny 2. We're going to forget about it. We're going to give you Gambit. And it just seems like the Gambit is going to go the same way that SRL went. If you want to play Gambit, you can go over there and play it in Destiny 2. If you want to play SRL, you go and play over there in Destiny 1. But if you want to continue playing Destiny, then you play with what we're giving you in Destiny kind of thing. It does feel like that's the shift.
Yeah.
I personally don't want that. I feel that Gambit was a good pillar of the game, and if they'd have just stopped taking stuff out of it and actually just left it the way it was, it just
just leave Prime and only Prime. They're like, oh well, we're gonna have Prime and the regular mode. They're like, oh well, now we're gonna take away Prime. No, you should have taken away the regular mode.
I think they should have left
merged the
both.
two, didn't they? Because obviously, you used to get the regular mode that was over 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Prime
I mean,
was-
it's definitely in a better spot. I'd be really curious to listen back to our older episodes of what we, I do worry we look back with the rose-colored glasses, going, oh, back in the good old days it was this, and sometimes I wonder I should go find the episodes where we were talking about when they were actually making this decision and going, community, what do you guys want, and see what our opinions were then. Because right now I'm like, oh no, certainly it's this, but I wonder now, listening back, it was a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was ago, did I feel that way then? And
No, I think at the time, given the choice, we said that we wanted it all to stick around, and we didn't understand why they needed to get rid of one of the modes. I vaguely remember us discussing this and saying, why are they getting rid of one of the modes? Maybe just improve on Gambit. Gambit maybe could have been shortened down to like a baby version of Gambit Prime. So if you like Gambit and you want to try the Prime, which is where you need to go in and use your suits to kind of do, end level PvE, PvP kind of stuff, that's where, you start in Gambit, you learn, you train, you do the baby stuff in the practice pool of Gambit,
learn
and
how
then
to
you go
walk
into
before
Gambit.
you can run.
Yeah. So I think vaguely remember that we said that we wanted it to stick around. I know that we were upset that the Reckoning, was it Reckoning? Yes, we were upset that the Reckoning was going away because it was one of the best places to go and get like Gnawing Hunger and a couple of other weapons. It was infuriating to play against some weeks because of the modifiers, but it gave you that element of kind of having to build a team and actually LFG if you were kind of trying to do the harder modes and and get those weapons and armor.
I mean, there were certain weapons that it was literally the only place you could get them from as well. I mean, what was it? Was it Doomsday, which was the grenade launcher, and you could only get the grenade launcher from Reckoning. Spare rations only came out of Reckoning.
Yeah, and there was a boss rotator of you had to see who the boss was. There was three different versions, 3 different weeks. Which week, they each had different loot pools. If you wanted that curated role gnawing hunger, you had to go in that week and get that role
against
only
that
available
boss.
on that week.
Yeah.
Again, and there was a loot pool. There was something to chase. You give us something to chase, and we as Destiny players will go chase it. You take away the thing to chase, and no one's going to go in and chase. Which is, the biggest problem with what it is right now is
you will chase it if it's fun to chase, not just because some people will just chase it. Yeah,
people. I mean, looking at trust, looking at some of the other things they throw into Gambit loopholes. People will go in and chase a weapon. Now, of course, the problem with that is the moment they get the weapon, they're out. And if there's not anything else to chase, they'll never touch it again. But we as Destiny players will absolutely go chase a weapon if it's something we want. I still use and have the curated role gnawing hunger I got from Reckoning right before it left. Before, because I had a sunset one, they sunset it, then I got a new one after they took the sunsetting away that I can now keep and maintain, that I still use, and I still love that weapon. That I worked real hard to get and put a lot of time in. And sunsetting is a whole other topic that we're not going to touch on because it's over now.
I mean, I chased Doomsday, which was the grenade launcher, and I think you could only get Doomsday from Oryx in the Reckoning. I think it was Oryx. And I never got it. And yet, Doomsday itself, as a grenade launcher, was rubbish. Its available roles were just trash. And it was out at the same time as Swarm of the Raven being the DPS king.
Iron Banner.
Iron Banner one.
But it didn't matter. I needed it ticked off. You know what I mean? Like, even now, I'm looking at my weapons in my heavy thing and whatnot, and it's dulled out, and it annoys me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something like you and 19 and both completionists. If even if you're never going to use it, you want to have it. Heck, that's why I go get 90% of the exotics in this game. I'm never going to fire them, but I want to have them.
Absolutely not.
Like, I'm never going to use this, but I want to have it available. So if maybe one day it's something I care about, then I can at least have it.
But when I look in my collections tab and I see Doomsday just there, and yet just one over to the left hand side of it is Edge Transit, which that's just an insult.
How many Edge Transits can you turn in for a Doomsday?
That hurts my soul. That I could never get that. But Edge Transit's just there next to it, like mocking me.
Oh, Edge Transit.
Yeah, exactly.
Going forward with Gambit, are you happy that they're only giving the Gambiteers one new map and it's not confirmed anytime
It's not new,
soon?
it's an old one.
It's not new.
Not new.
It's one they took away.
Well, you're getting one map back.
Reprised map.
You're getting one reprised map.
If they reprise it.
If they do reprise it. Do you think they'll actually tune that map because they took it out of the rotation because they said it was unbalanced? Do you think they've actually tuned it, or do you think they are just throwing it
No, they're just going to throw it back in completely unbalanced, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Absolutely, I think that's what they're going to do with it.
The Crucible maps they've taken away for tuning. And this is where I have no idea. Like, I am not the Crucible guy. All these Crucible maps they took out because they were unbalanced and they were going to tune them. Have they tuned them? Other than like, hey, we took out some spots where we could get out of the map and whatever. Have they tuned any of those? Because if they have, then I have hope for the Gambit map. If not, then no, they're going to stick it back in and go, yeah, we've updated and maybe fixed some bugs, but it's going to be just like it was before.
We've never seen some of the PvP maps come back. I mean, there's like this Emperor's Respite, for example, is a PvP.
Yeah.
That's never come back. And what's that been gone now? 2 years? That was a fantastic map. I absolutely loved it. There was lanes in it. There was close quarters in it. You could sit with a scout rifle, you could sit with a sniper rifle, or you could run around with an SMG and a shotgun. There was a little bit of everything in there. There were so many little places. And, people say, oh, it was unbalanced and, like fighting just came down to one area. Move.
Did you say move?
You have this ability to not go to that area.
So what you're saying is don't step into the kill zone?
Yeah, look, every time I come here, I get shot in the head. Don't stand there then. Move.
I mean, we did get some feedback from Mel O'Malley in our Patreon chat about her view on Destiny at the moment, and where she's only been playing for a year, she's find it amazing. Everything is amazing. There's so much for her to do, and I suppose once you get over that hill of getting into the game as a new player, there is so much to do in the game. And she said, her husband and children that still play the game, and they've been playing it for several years, when they get bored of the game, they'll go away, play something else, and come back. So, she's still learning about all the different aspects of the game.
And fragments.
Being a new player, being only a new player for like a year, realistically. So, I mean, there is so much, like we've always said, there's so much for new players. And Destiny or Bungie seem to be, once they've got a new player in the last couple of years, you don't seem to see that there's that much of an issue that the older players can kind of see that, has been taken out of the game. And us as veteran players that have been here since day one can see all the stuff that we've missed and the stuff that we're not getting as Destiny players. And newer players come in and they're not seeing that. They're just seeing that Bungie are giving them, quality of life updates. They're giving them more and more things, like they're giving them the exotic missions back in the game that if you missed out on them in the previous couple of years, they're coming back. So,
So you're saying we're in way too deep.
Yeah.
I think some of the problem there, though, is as well, and I said this because I was talking to her, and I did say, like, new players who buy into the game and are buying, like the old DLCs and whatnot, and then coming forward and moving through, what you got, like Shadowkeep, Witch Queen, Lightfall, Beyond Light, all those. Like they're getting told to go, go do this activity, go do that activity, go do the other activity. When was the last time any of us, as the players that have done all that, actually stepped foot into any of it?
Never.
Like, well, maybe we do have it, but you know what? At the same time, I don't like ignoring people. If anybody needs a hand, and I see someone saying, "Oh, I want to go get Cloud Strike," I couldn't be that person that sat there and I've got it, I don't care. Like, I'd want to go and help that person.
No, I absolutely help people for a price.
Yeah, and for a price. Yeah, so, but I couldn't sit. Like I've said to you now 1,000,001 times, Nighty, I don't feel like I have a great deal for myself to do on Destiny at the moment.
Yeah,
and anybody that's wanting to come in now, join the game, find these things out, and then they're like, "What do you mean there's an exotic hidden in there that you can't get anywhere else? It's amazing. I want to go get it. What's it do?" Get out there, help that person, because the more you help that person, the more you're going to build that person into a better player, a friend, somebody who you can then, call upon for, "Hey, look, remember that time I was helping you? Well, just come here a minute because I just need a hand with this." Right? And this is what you can get out of it as well. Draw that person in with a bit of cheese. And you build a positive community instead of always being just so low. Like, I think like a lot of the older players now don't want to help newer players either. Like,
I think they're all burned out.
Yeah,
if you've been playing this game from the level you have to play it to do this level of like daily content, I mean, Dado himself said, "Hey, I've been doing this for almost a decade." Like everyone is burned out, beyond burned out. Like, it's no game was meant to be engaged with for this long every single day.
Rookies.
I'd be interested to see how many hours Dato's actually got logged in this game.
You can look him up.
I don't know what his stupid numbers
gamer
are.
tag is just Dado, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've got to have his numbers.
But he's got multiple
well,
accounts too, so you're not going to really be getting an accurate number.
But I'd be interested to see, because like there's people saying that, but I'm still here. I'm still wanting to help somebody out. I still love taking people through the dungeons for first time raids, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I get you, and I mean, like I replied to both of you, saying the problem is it's only for the long term players. There's some feel that they're not being catered for, and some feel that Bungie would rather keep the new players in rather than retaining some that have been here for like the longest possible time. And they have the largest voice sometimes. They are the ones that are the content creators that people follow.
But again,
if
do you not think that's an issue? The fact that then, because so many people follow them, they become sheeple. And because he says that, well, I'm going to agree.
There's definitely a level of the loudest voices aren't necessarily the majority. Like that's why I was sort of saying last week, I would love to see like what the numbers for strikes are, because Bungie clearly sees like seasonal content, strikes, Nightfall, like that's where the effort is going. Again, those of us who've been doing this for 9 years are going, I would never step foot in a strike. Why would I ever? But I'm curious, like, we could very well be the minority, and in fact, probably are the minority, because everyone plays this game for something different. Like we have the PvP folks who are like, listen, I don't care about the PvE side except for going and getting a weapon to bring into PvP. Like there's just
just like Jez.
there's I mean, there's so much of this game, and we all play it differently. We all want something different out of it. And we all approach it from that way of, I don't care about thing X. I just wanted to go do thing Y. And maybe it's not even for the activity. Maybe it's, I want the exotic and I'm out. I want this weapon and I'm out. I'm hunting this role and I'm out. But what am I actually, like what am I playing, what am I playing Destiny for? Not to say, oh, Destiny's terrible. Why am I playing? But like, what, when I turn on Destiny and I load into something, what is my goal? What's my objective? Is it to get that exotic? Is it to find the weapon, and then is it to find the weapon to have it, to put it in the vault on a pedestal? Is it to find the weapon to say, okay, now I can go into trials with it, now I can bring it into the raid, now I can go knock out that GM, now I can go finally have the armor piece I've been hunting to finish this build I've been working on? It's like, what is your objective? Like, what's your why for playing the game? Which is different from everybody, and yeah, totally different from I've been at this for a year, or I dip in and out of Destiny versus I play Destiny day in, day out, every single day for 9 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got nearly 6,000 hours in Destiny 2. And I don't understand half the complaints.
No, I don't as well. There's still so much for me to do in the game each week. I was still struggling to get everything done for the solstice. And I know that's because I prioritize like family time for the school holidays.
Well, not just that, but you're a perfectionist. You don't count. You and Dado are like, if I don't have 100%, then I have 0%.
I had to 100% it as well.
There you go. See, it's not just me.
I am the loot whore. Okay, that is what I am there for.
I'm a little bit of both. Like, I have to have my collections filled out. I want to get every little bit of everything. Like I'm sure it was Revelry where we had that thing where you could, like, you got your grenades back real fast and whatnot, and there was a thing in your inventory that you could sort of pick what you were getting, whether it be like, your class ability back faster, your grenade ability back faster, or your melee ability back faster.
Yeah, I also think that was something that they did for the Halloween event as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that being a thing, and just being utter boring. Going to Mars, starting Escalation Protocol, and throwing grenades into just like the hordes and hordes of Thrall that would come out, just to make sure that I had the thing for the kills with every grenade. Like you've got like get 50 kills, then you've got to get 100, then you've got to get 200, then you've got to have like 500 kills, and it sort of ticks off as you. I remember using that for that very reason, just so that I could complete that triumph.
Wow. So you were saying that this has been the first season for a long time that you've not bothered to kind of do a lot of the seasonal content.
Yeah,
so
I still haven't completed it.
What were your main reasons behind that for this season in general?
I didn't feel like there was much need to play. Like once I'd gone into the dungeon and I'd done the dungeon, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. I looked at the weapons and I was like, yeah, the weapons can roll good, but they're the same frame as this, and well, I've got that. And they're the same frame as that, and I've got that, and that roll isn't as good as that one. And
so you weren't taken up with fishing or deep dives or salvage?
I've done more fishing than I probably have anything else. I love fishing. When it first came out, I remember saying in the Discord, like, this is a fantastic thing for newer players to come and do. Like, I've turned in legendaries and I've had, upgrade materials, turn in exotics, get upgrade materials. It's like, it's so easy to get some upgrade materials out of just sitting there and mindlessly doing nothing.
And exotics.
Yeah, and your exotics that you get, yeah, brilliant. Thank you. I'll take them. And there's no need not to do it. You're passively just earning your bait anyway. So you go off, you do your weekly things as a new player. You know what I mean? You're still looking for those good rolls. You're still looking for those exotics. You're still looking for materials to be able to masterwork your armor. Excellent. Get yourself some fishing done.
Or hear me out. Don't. Right?
But going and being able to get the Ascendant shards, I haven't handed in that many exotics where I haven't got an Ascendant shard at the side of the exotic. I'd say at least every other. It's like, here's an exotic from this engram, and here's an Ascendant shard.
I don't think I've gotten an Ascendant shard from
fishing.
No.
I don't know. At that point,
you got that from fishing?
Yeah. So you're just sitting there casting your rod and then turning in an exotic engram, and it's like, oh well, the exotic's but I got the Ascendant shard.
We don't talk about rods here. All right. So back it up, brother. Okay.
One thing I did hear that was quite interesting from the Destiny Community podcast this week was from Miss 5000 Watts. And she was talking about, the big Sony money that everyone was talking about and saying, why haven't Bungie invested this into the game and used? She actually kind of explained it pretty well.
Are they making live action?
No.
Damn it.
The problem is that Bungie was an independent studio. So with it being an independent studio, who do you think were the main shareholders of the independent studio?
The employees.
What do you mean?
The employees of the studio.
Oh, yeah.
So who made all that money when Sony bought the majority shareholding in Bungie?
The board?
The heads of the studio.
The employees and the heads of the studio. So it didn't go towards the game. It went towards the shareholders who don't. It's nothing to do with the game. It was Sony acquiring the rights to be the controlling share in Bungie. That's it. They haven't got like 3 billion sitting in a bank account just waiting to be spent for new members of employees to be taken up. That was for the shareholders, and if they had a lot of shares in the company, then they made quite a lot of money. So good on them for what they did with their company and made a lot of money, and hopefully make a lot of money going forward. But that doesn't answer the question of that we want PvP stuff and we want Gambit stuff and not just strike stuff.
Oh,
so they did what every corporation does, created shareholder value. Not surprising.
Well, it explains where the money's gone, so that people can't then say they've got all this money just sitting there, which if somebody have come out and said that a long time ago, you would have had less people on Twitter going, well, they've got this 3 billion kind of investment, and it's not.
Are you sure though? Because people still would have gone, but there's still money, because people are going to scream about everything no matter what. That's what social media is.
Should Sony invest more money into the studio? Yes, because it is a live service game, and they didn't have a live service game beforehand. So they should definitely invest more money into the game to make more PvP maps, more of a thing of Gambit. Make it this big thing. Make there be tournaments of.
Make Bungie great again.
Yeah, make Bungie. Yeah, hashtag make Bungie great again.
But does Sony care, or do they just want the knowledge?
Well,
why
would you invest in a company that you don't want to succeed?
Because as Parody said last week, Sony didn't have a live service game, and they wanted to know how does this work? So does Sony truly care about Bungie? Or did Sony just say, no, we just want to know how that works?
Well, no. Sony cares very much about Bungie. Do they care about Destiny?
Well,
This was, the term acqui-hire, acquiring, hiring. It's basically you have expertise. You've been running a successful game for 9 years as a live service game. We have 0 of those. We'd like to learn how you did that. So we're going to buy you to learn how you did that so then we can do that more. So they care very much about Bungie. How much they care about Destiny? I mean, obviously some. It still makes money. I mean, they threw Destiny into the whatever the PlayStation version of Game Pass is. I think they said like for 6 months or something it's going into the like free or the free game thing on PlayStation. Sorry, don't have a PlayStation, don't know what it's called.
The PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like again, they're like here, it was on Game Pass for a while. Went off Game Pass, obviously. Hey, we're gonna throw it into the PlayStation bucket to say, hey, a bunch of new people bring us. I mean, they're still bringing people into the game. You don't bring people into a game when you're like, yeah, we're gonna turn this off in a year. Like, there's still a plan for Destiny. It's just what Sony's plan is for it, and what Bungie's plan for is different. And yeah, Sony is very interested in Bungie. How interested are they in Destiny? How interested are they in Marathon? We'll see.
Yeah.
But Bungie, very interested.
Misworded, but yeah, I mean, do Sony genuinely care about Destiny? Probably not. At the end of the day, they more than likely just bought this because, as I say, they wanted to know how to do the live service game, not because they wanted the game.
They want the profit from the game too.
Yeah.
Still makes money. All business.
Respawn and Noble, is there anything else that was from the state of the game that you wanted to bring up this week? And
I don't know.
Get Bungie's.
I didn't read it.
I know you didn't read it.
Respawn has no idea what was in the state of the game, so if we haven't told him right now, he has no idea what they've done to the hunters.
I don't know what opinion I should have.
I'm trying to think of what we haven't actually discussed of what was in the state of the game, to be honest.
Well, Micah, the other day, he's talking about more exotic changes and more class changes, but we didn't actually get into it at that point.
That wasn't the state of the game, though. That's
to come.
Yeah.
That was this week that you haven't read yet either. So,
Yeah.
preview of coming attraction. Honestly, the state of the game, the cosmetic favoring, no longer having to grind through to get your stasis stuff unlocked, Wish Ender removing the 3 discs from your.
That's a really nice change.
Yeah.
I will say that is a really nice change because, like, I helped someone get their Wish Ender this week, and it's always so annoying having to go in, get to Shurido to pick up what was obviously the start of the quest, to then literally go to Warbit, reset, go back in and do it all over again. It kind of feels like a pointless trip.
Yep.
Going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship. Let's go, Bungie.
Are we excited for DMT to become craftable?
No, they've nerfed it so much. Why would you be excited?
I literally couldn't care less about DMT.
That's why I'm asking.
It was
not
absolutely,
even a little.
It was a brilliant weapon when it came out, but you know what? It just, like Respawn said, it just got hit so many times. It's what's the point in it anymore?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're still good? Hammer. Oh, you're still good? Hammer. Oh, you're still good? Hammer. Guess what, guys? You can craft this bent nail now. You don't want the bent nail? Why don't you want the bent nail? It's still metal. It's still you could. I mean, I guess if you crafted it would be a little bit straighter, but I mean, in the end, it's metal, guys, right? It's still the nail. Come on,
yeah.
What the nail, right?
So. Other things that Respawn might have missed this week was Destiny 2 update 7.1.5.3, which were Battlegrounds. The Unstoppable Champion kills are now properly counting in the Silence Battlegrounds Moon Nightfall. Trials of Osiris. I know you're interested in this one, Respawn. The drop rates for the Memoriam Ghost from Trials have been improved. And General, players are now able to claim It's in the Cards reward from Soraya Hawthorne.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. I'm really excited about that one title that you can never be behind in a game for your entire card. To get that, that's super excited for that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I suppose we could move into the dev insight for Season 22 abilities and armor changes preview.
Okay.
Would you like to take us through that one, Respawn?
Sure.
Because I know you haven't read it. So it starts off with the hunters. So I think you'd be really interested.
Vox, Kilos.
I'm actually quite interested in the hunter change, actually, because I am a fan of the Knucklehead radar, and I'm also a fan of the foe tracer.
I'm a fan of what they're doing to that.
I'm a fan of the combination, and then a fan of maybe what the foe tracer is going to become. So Respawn, take it away.
Hunters, Knucklehead Radar. The functionality of the foe tracer exotic helmet has been completely removed from that exotic and added to Knucklehead Radar on top of its existing benefits. Okay, kind of cool. Foe tracer. We took some cues from the popular monochromatic Maestro artifact perk for this one. When you deal damage with one of your abilities, you gain a damage bonus with weapons that have damage types matching your subclass damage type. That's a lot of words. Additionally, when you defeat an enemy you damage with one of your abilities, either with another ability or with a weapon with a damage type matching your subclass type, you will spawn one of the collectible objects associated with your subclass collectible objects, such as iron. Okay, I see. Yeah. I see. Is that whole paragraph gonna be on the Knucklehead now?
No, that's going to be on the foe tracer
or the foe tracer.
So
but they said that they took the foe tracer and put it on the Knucklehead radar now. I'm confused.
So the Knucklehead radar.
I have two of them. Are they the same thing now?
Well, no. Yeah, Knucklehead radar at the moment provides radar up when you're aiming down sights and enhances your radar resolution while you're crouched. So it goes to the smaller kind of triangles. Mm-hmm. So what they're going to do is incorporate the foe tracer, which has the relentless tracker. So you'll get what you already get with the Knucklehead radar. So you'll get your radar up at all times and you'll still get the crouch, you'll get the smaller triangles, but you're also going to get visually marked targets, deals more damage to low health marked targets, and provides a small benefit to airborne effectiveness, a stat of a weapon. So you're getting all of that in one. That's going to be cool for the hunters. And especially in that new
in play, honestly.
Especially in that new game mode. Checkmate.
Yeah, that actually, okay, I'll give you that. Lucky Raspberry. This exotic was a little too unreliable in its current form, so we've taken a crack at streamlining its energy gains. Oops, that's not the right button. While leaving some of its benefits intact. The exotic still expands the chaining capabilities of arc bolt grenades, but now, instead of basing the grenade energy gains on those chains, each time you damage an enemy with the lightning strikes from the jolted condition. Wait. But now instead of basing the grenade energy gains on those chains, each time you damage an enemy with lightning strikes from your jolted condition, as well as each time you pick up an ionic trace, you gain additional grenade energy. We also given this.
So at the moment, it increases the chaining capability of arc bolt grenades and has a chance to recharge it each time it deals damage. A full chain always recharges it.
Okay.
So this is the one where if you get enough hits on it, you can literally get a full grenade back.
Yeah, then you get two grenades. So odds are you're going to get your grenade back as long as you're hitting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get so much more kind of with the ionic traces and more hits and being jolted. That's going to be an interesting one to look at for like GMs and things like that.
And of course, because of champions, they've also given this grenade the intrinsic ability to stun Overlord champions. Renewal grasps. We've undone.
I'm going to need you to break this one down for me. There's a lot here to understand.
We've undone the previous nerf to Dustfield grenade cooldowns when using this exotic. Yay.
That's actually not a bad change, like you say, yay. But, I mean, all you need to do there is have a look at what a stasis grenade can do. You throw a stasis grenade.
And the renewal grasps, wasn't these the ones that turns you into a turtle?
Yeah, this is the one that it's the dome thing, isn't it? And if you throw it at a champion, you're looking at if that champion's in there properly, the slow effect is going to affect a overload champion, and if it's in there even longer, you could end up with it being frozen, break the freeze, and you've shattered it, which is your unstop. So it's actually not that bad of a change.
Yeah, I know, but it was nerfed because PvP mostly people were tired of hunters having all that defense while shooting outside of their bubble.
Yeah.
Their mini bubble, yeah.
Yeah. But for the likes of me and you, putting that nerf back, that's a brilliant change.
No, I get it, but it was just like, I don't know.
It should have never been. It should have never been nerfed in the first place for PvE.
Yeah. I get that.
They smashed stasis into the ground, and now they're unsmashing it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's the same every time, though, isn't it? Do you not think generally they'll release something and they'll be like, "Look here, have this," and it's stupid good, gives you that ultimate power fantasy, and then they go like that, no, and they hit it.
It was too good. It was still too good. See DMT talk from 30 seconds ago. It was really good. Now it's less good. Hey, now we're going to make it more good again.
Yeah, and then they bring it back up slowly but surely. You know what I mean? Until it ends up in just a reasonable place, unless it's a striker titan.
Yep. And now my hunter will actually be able to have stasis theoretically by not having to go through the whole quest and can just go to what's her face on Europa and just pick up all the aspects of fragments.
And yeah, that does kind of make me mad a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't. Because I think of like all the finishes that I had to do with, with people affected by stasis, and I'm like, buy them.
Just wait long enough, and Bungie will give it to you. That's been my strategy for everything. You have to go take this Whisper of the Worm and do it. No, you don't. You can just wait. Just wait, and eventually you can have it. Will I ever use it? No, but I'll have it.
I love Whisper.
So, Parody, what are they doing to our beloved Titans?
Let's see. Well, they're taking our Icefall Mantle, our Doomfang Pauldrons, our Path of the Burning Steps, and Eternal Warrior. And
that's a lot of words.
They did some changes, but they didn't really, or they added an escalating bonus to both the arc and solar weapons. So when you get killed with those damage types, we like this, and that they gave us players a way to get surge-like bonuses. But the Eternal Warrior still was not good because it never will be. And they wanted to give it a more reliable way to get up to tier 4 damage. So they made some more changes for those. So Icefall Mantle is going to grant you an escalating bonus to stasis damage types with your weapons when getting rapid stasis kills.
Ooh.
When you activate your class ability, you immediately gain the highest tier bonus. So have stasis on, use stasis, get kills with stasis for more stasis goodness.
But don't want
Pauldrons.
to do it too much because we're going to nerf barricades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but your Icefall Mantles are something completely different, though, aren't they?
No, they're the one that turn your barricade into an overshield.
Yeah, so if you...
Which we're going to then smash your barricade usage to make them able to be used less.
But if you're using an overshield and then you've got an escalating damage bonus on top of that for popping your shield, so you've got a shield on top of your existing shields and like health, and you're using a stasis weapon, you are going to be an unkillable tank.
Yeah, but bear in mind you can barely move as well because it turns you into a great big glacier, doesn't it? That gets slowed down.
As long as they come to you.
Can't run. Yeah, that's the whole point. People were worried about Titans popping their barricade when they're trying to capture a point in Trials of Osiris. They're now just going to be on the capture point, popping their Icefall Mantles and going, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah, and saying, "I'm going to stand here. You come to me, and I'll mow you down." Just keep peeking.
I'm not sure with that one. I'm not sure how viable it's going to be because all it's going to take is one person with a sniper rifle, which is quite prominent in the likes of Trials of Osiris, to take your brains
sniper
out of
rifle,
your back of your head,
and you're done.
Yeah, take brains out of the back of your head because you can't move out that way. You're going to be lucky. You're going to be like, "Oh no, there's a red light over there," and by the time your Titans even thought about moving.
Yeah, but if you use a stasis sniper rifle, you can probably get a body shot and get a good kill on that.
Let's be honest. There's 3 people out here that are excited about using the Icefall Mantles anyway that have thoughts about this. The rest of us going, "Yep, that's a thing you could certainly do." Your Doomfang Pauldrons are going to grant an escalating bonus to void damage when getting void rapid kills. So when you get a void melee kill, you immediately get the highest level of void damage. So use Doomfang Pauldrons for void to get more void. So maybe it gives you a reason to use them.
And it gives you super faster.
Our Path of the Burning Steps getting a solar grenade kill will now grant the highest level of solar weapon damage. So Doomfang Pauldrons, but for fire.
I feel like they could be all right, because as well, not only are you going to get that escalated damage, but you're going to be able to you're going to be stood in the sunspot.
Yeah, and in the sunspot, give your friend sunspots, and then also do more damage for solar. So yeah, I'm all for things that feed back into each other. Is it enough to make me use any of these versus something else? Maybe, but I can see there maybe being a situation where if I need to use all the void or all the solar, then it reinforces. But
yeah, Path of the Burning Steps it could come in handy for certain things. It could overtake the likes of Laurelly Splendor for people that are using a lot of solar.
Yeah, it at least gives you a choice, and we'll touch on another solar thing here in a minute. But the Eternal Warrior, the exotic only grants the highest tier bonus automatically when your super ends, which is a rare occurrence. The duration of the arc weapon damage bonus from your Fist of Havoc super ends have been extended to 30 seconds, up from 10 seconds. So basically, you'll get the arc bonus from Eternal Warrior after your super ends for 30 seconds now instead of 10 seconds, but your super still has to end. So cool. So it's a worse version of the Path of the Burning Steps and Doomfang Pauldrons. Again, why would I use that exactly? But sure,
so you can look ugly.
Yeah, but you remembered it existed.
That is an ugly helmet.
ACDO feedback fence, they're just going to completely rework it. So that was the one where today you get punched and whoever punches you hurts you. Whoever punches you gets hurt. Is basically, I have spines on me and I'm going to hurt you when you punch me. We're getting a complete mechanical rework, and it now ties on the armor charge system, increasing its versatility, making it more useful in scenarios, we hope. So they're going to completely take off the old perk. So it's a complete rework. So it will no longer do what it does today. So when a melee hits you, you get an armor charge, and you'll take reduced melee damage when you have that armor charge. Taking melee damages causes you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy, which also jolts targets, consuming the armor charge and dealing damage based on the number of armor charge stacks you have. So we're going to take away the existing perk, we mean we're going to take the existing perk, turn it into arc, and let it jolt people. More jolt based on how many stacks of armor charge you have, from 0 to 3. So it basically does the same thing, except it jolts now.
That's the way it read to me.
I was like, we've completely reworked it. Oh, no, we didn't. But that's okay. We give it an arc flavor.
We kind of reworked it.
Yeah, it was a mechanical rework. We
We
took out
thought
the
about
old screws
reworking
and
it.
bolts. Yeah, and it's got brand new washers, brand new screws. We've tightened all the bits. It's great now.
Yeah.
The Hallowfire Heart is not as good as the Heart of Inmost Light because you have to have your super up for the Hallowfire Heart to be useful. So to remedy that, we've removed its base energy to solar abilities and replaced it with a perk that lets you build more into sunspots. So we're now going to have a third sunspot exotic. We think you'll like seeing this more sunspots on the battlefield as a result, as the perk has greatly increased your ability regen when you're super. So it's still going to increase your ability regen speed, drastically while your super is charged. Downside is you can't use your super, and they're going to do something with sunspots. So basically, they're going to give you a reason to use the Hallowfire Heart other than just holding onto your solar super and having your abilities regen quicker. But they're not saying what they're doing with sunspots, so why would I use this over Laurelly or Path of the Burning Steps? We'll find out, because now we're going to have 3 sunspot exotics. Yeah, so again, reserving judgment until we know what it actually does. I mean, I'm excited to have sunspots be more useful and not be Laurelly or nothing. But again, it just depends on how this is going to work and what it's going to do and what I can build into. I mean, there's potential there, but
it's actually the original One-Eyed Mask.
There you go. I mean, I'm happy they're at least making these changes. They're touching these exotics versus going, "Yep, it's there. Nobody uses it, and we're going to keep it there."
Hellfire Heart. I don't think that's been touched since it came out.
No, they were like, that and the Eternal Warrior. They were like, "Yep, we've released these." Good
but
luck.
Hellfire Heart, when it that was my armor piece of choice year one.
Mm-hmm.
What did that one do? I know it had like the flame in the chest, like the actual
super
fast
regen for all your abilities once your super's charged. So you can basically get your super as quickly as possible, and then throw a bunch of grenades, use a bunch of barricades, melee a bunch of things. It basically just buffed your recharge for everything, at the expense of holding onto your super and not using it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it made it really good for. Like, I used to use it a lot in Escalation Protocol, for example, because
it was anything you could get a super quickly.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Because you had a hunter out there that had, I mean, it was Escalation Protocol. You're talking about pre-nerf of what do you call those pants that hunters have for tether?
Tether pants.
Oh, the Orpheus rigs.
That's it. You're talking about pre-nerf Orpheus rigs, where Orpheus rigs used to will come out and instantly give you 20 orbs of light.
I was thinking about the Orpheus rigs the other day too, because my son, he got a new book and it was about mythology or whatever. And Orpheus is associated with snakes, right? That's why there's snakes all over the pants.
Yep.
But the story of Orpheus and what the pants do are nothing compared to each other. I'm like, how did you make this connection, Bungie? Do you just want to put snakes on there and call it Orpheus rigs? What the hell?
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, 100%.
Jeez.
But yeah, they were just so good because you could just throw a grenade absolutely everywhere, every 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Melting Point, that's a thing. I don't know if anybody remembers Melting Point because nobody uses it anymore. But like that would be your debuff because it was just free and readily available every sort of 6-7 seconds, and it didn't take your heavy ammo.
It exists,
and it was such a good exotic, and then it just got left back there in the corner, just
hanging out with the rest of the list we just
went over. It got given the Dirty Dancing treatment, didn't it? It just got put in the corner.
Yep. And now we've got some Warlock changes. Shall we have our guest Warlock Appreciator? I won't call you Warlock main, but Warlock Appreciator.
Oh yeah, I think Warlock Appreciator should take his Warlocks for a ride.
Oh man, I've forgotten which some of these were now. Let me find the thing.
You told me you'd made
notes. But I only made the notes about the ones that I cared about.
Okay.
Yo, same.
You didn't make notes. Don't even try and con us. You made notes. You didn't even read it.
No, that's true. If I had read it, I would have made notes about the things I cared about, even if they were just mental notes.
So anyway, right, I know Astrocyte Verse is getting that's getting a new sort of perk given to it. So like you can blink.
Don't just guess it.
What?
Couple of them apparently.
Don't just guess it.
So if you made notes on the Astrocyte Verse, they did edit it on the 9th at 11 a.m. Pacific. So they made a note on Wednesday, apparently, which is the
same day.
Yeah,
they put it out.
Same day, but now it says something different than it said originally.
Oh, at least they've changed it. Then that could throw me completely out, and I could be just telling lies here.
Yeah, well, they've added 2 more pieces of functionality to the exotic. First, enemies near you when you blink become volatile.
There you go.
And when you're using your Nova Warp Super, which nobody is, the Dark Blink ability no longer consumes your super energy. So maybe people will use it.
That's something that I was actually discussing with somebody. Right? Is that blink during the super going to do the same when you're wearing Astrocyte Verse as your standard blink? So if you use the super's blink,
maybe.
Is that going to cause all those enemies to become volatile?
That would be nice.
Because I mean, like that could become like quite good ad clear if that's a thing.
Yeah, it would give Nova Warp a reason to exist.
Yeah,
because I mean, I love the idea of Nova Warp.
Absolutely, you'd look at it and you'd consider it like that could be all right. That
I did enjoy using it when we had Iron Banner Rift. That was quite cool.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy seeing people try to use it in PvP and going, no, you might as well just run at me with an Arc Titan before they buff them last with the Striker and just go, I'm going to murder you out of this before you get here.
Yeah, I'm not. I've never been a fan. But, with a rework and that Astrocyte Verse thing, could be all right. I wouldn't want to take it into a GM, but,
We'll give that one a meh on the meh scale.
Yeah.
What do we feel about the Geomag stabilizers? Do you feel more Geomag stabilized?
Not really. I mean, they were just.
I mean, you got to read it.
Run Fall and
The idea
Sunstar.
is for you to read it, dude.
Yeah, I know. Can't find it.
Well, while we've often heard calls to restore the perk that lets you top off your super energy by sprinting,
Or not?
the legacy of that incentive still creates some pretty silly play patterns. Instead, we wanted to give players a way to get more super energy, no matter how charged their super is. Now, picking up an ionic trace while wearing this exotic will grant Guardians additional super energy. I kind of thought it already did that.
Okay, I do kind of like that. Because you can create some silly ionic traces, especially on a warlock. I do
But the
protest
super,
Bungie taking our
even if you get
silliness
the
away.
super more often, it doesn't change the fact that the super is kind of ass now, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
the
which
Geo
one?
was what made it good in the first place, though.
Yeah,
If
I
you
mean,
know-
no, because it was good on its own. Geomags just made it Super Saiyan. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, the super back in the day hit hard, right? And if you could hit hard for twice as long and top off your super during a sprint, that's what made it really, really good. You know, and then they had the builds back then where you would get your super back every 8 seconds, I think it was, at the peak. You'd get it back every 8 seconds. But yeah. So, you know, that's what made it good, is because the super was already good at its base. Right? Now, even if you change the Geomags with this so you can get your super back more often, well, congratulations, it's still not a great super. At least not for PvE, unless you're ad clearing, right? For PvP, hell, the last time I was hit by one, it one-shot me, like, just kind of like scanning over me. I don't know if it's still that strong in PvP. If it is that strong, maybe that's a reason. But you can't, no, because you can't do, hold on. In PvP, you can't drop
Ionic traces.
ionic traces, can you? So this change doesn't affect PvP at all. So in essence, this is a PvE change to a super that nobody's using anyway.
And to be honest, why would you use it over Fallen Sunstar?
Over what?
Fallen Sunstar.
Fallen Sunstar?
Yeah.
Which creates all the traces.
Yeah, yeah. And like a lot more of them.
Wow. I don't know anything about that. The only one exotic that concerns me is the one that makes your head look like a landing strip. That's a fun exotic.
Yeah, for the trace rifles. Yeah, the Fallen Sunstar, you can absolutely stand in the new dungeon with a risk runner in the part where you have to go swimming underneath to get the map pieces, and just stand there and just create traces and just unload on people. It's wonderful.
Really?
You
it's
can just stand
ridiculously
there.
good.
You can stand there and be Morpheus in the Matrix and just say, "Come to me," and that's it. And you can just stand there and go, "I got this. You guys do whatever you need to do. I have this whole room. Wizards don't care. Nothing. Don't care. I am a Lord of Arc. It is wonderful."
That's kind of nutty.
Yeah, it's real good. Works well with the centrifuge too. Risk Runner, I don't need to sing its praises, but the centrifuge also can be lots of fun. If you keep moving and you just jolt everything and you're creating traces, it is. You want to talk power fantasy? That is peak power fantasy.
It works really well with, but I think better than Centrifuge is the Art Trace rifle. Which one is it? The one that Cold Heart. That's it.
Is that the stasis? Isn't Cold Heart the stasis one?
No, Cold Heart's the Arc one.
Cold Heart. It's frozen like it's stasis, but it's actually arc. That's why it's confusing for you. Yeah.
I don't use any of the trace rifles. So.
Yeah, it was the exotic you got for pre-purchasing Destiny 2.
Yep, that's right. Cold Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold Heart. You would
people
think
said that it should be the stasis one.
I mean, they should change it to stasis now that stasis is a thing. It makes sense. I mean, after all, it's not like you're not used to changing lore and weapons, Bungie. I'm still sore about that. I'm never not.
To be fair, I am going to throw this out there and say, at least in Destiny 2, we have never had a weapon completely taken off of us.
Completely taken out. You mean removed from the game?
Yep.
Well, I mean, no, technically you're correct, but at the same time, there are weapons that you can't get anymore if you missed. So that's kind of the same thing. Then even if they don't actually take it away from you, if they nerf it to the point to where you're better off shooting spit out of a straw, then they might as well have taken it.
Well, I mean, did you ever use Pocket Infinity? Because they nerfed that and nerfed it and nerfed it and nerfed it and nerfed it.
Pocket Infinity is like your throwable melee, right?
No, Pocket Infinity was a weapon in Destiny 1 that they just...
Fusion rifle in D1?
Yeah, they tried kicking that thing right to the ground and it just kept standing up and headbutted them.
I mean, that's just the Telesto treatment. Telesto refuses to die. You know,
what do you think Telesto? Listen,
right? I was going to say every game has a fusion rifle that's stubborn.
So Telesto could run.
Yeah, Pocket Infinity it definitely gave Telesto a run for its money.
Plot twist: Telesto is Pocket Infinity.
I think Telesto is, to be fair, I do think it is Pocket Infinity, but the sort of managed to tone it in by this point, because obviously Telesto is a Destiny 1 weapon, and I think Telesto in Destiny 1 came out with the Taken King, didn't it?
Telesto. You know what? I don't even know why I'm trying to remember. Who am I to remember things?
And I do think that, you know, like Telesto was like, we kind of fixed Pocket Infinity, but kind of going to let you have it back, and it's going to be Telesto, and it's still broken.
Now that you said it, you've awakened Pocket Infinity. It's going to come back to haunt us.
I love that one so much.
It's going to show up in the game, and Bungie's going to go, we don't know how it got here.
I loved it. It was brilliant.
The devs are having a meeting. Did you do it? Nope. Did you do it? Nuh-uh. Did you do it? Nope. Who the hell did it?
Is this code even in the game? What is there up to?
Right.
Well,
it is going to be like when Telesto overtook the game and just put itself everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I am Telesto. There is nothing else. See, Bungie thinks... Sony thinks they bought Bungie. They actually just bought Telesto. Like three Telestos in a trench coat is Bungie. That's all it is. It's all Telestos all the way down.
That imagery, though, think about that imagery for a second. Just three Telestos in a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
With 2 legs is Pocket Infinity.
There you go.
So the Wings of Sacred Dawn. Leaning into the non-Telesto orbital weapons platform fantasy, they wanted players to be able to have a way to stay aloft even longer, especially in target-rich PvE environments.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, Warlocks had to reload, which is the main reason that it caused their float to end. So the Wings of Sacred Dawn will now automatically reload your solar weapons, including the weapon you are holding, from reserves each time you get a kill while aiming down sights. Try this one out with Xenophage. So they took your AC-130 and they made it a better AC-130 with solar that doesn't need to reload?
I mean, it sounds like it, but like somebody who plays Warlock, actually all three of you, I guess, right? Why is it a good idea, or why did Bungie think it was a good idea to make Warlocks this C-130? I understand in PvP a lot of people don't look up. I get that, right? But in PvE, the enemies know you're there, right? And anything outside of a strike, if you're floating in the air, you're dead in like 2 seconds. You know?
Ghost of the Deep, I float about in the air in that.
Do you know?
Yeah, Sunbracers, Snap, float about in the air. All the time that you're in the air gives you your abilities back, which means you snap, you throw your grenades are giving you your snap back. You snap again, you throw your grenades again. And then all you have to do, if you are even remotely getting low on health, is you have Phoenix dive, and you just dive down and you've got your health back again. Jump again, off you go.
So just because they can see you doesn't mean they're still alive to do anything about it.
Yeah, and I mean, all those grenades that it has a tendency to jolt those enemies about, not jolt like they do with Arc, but they do sort of jump around, don't there? Some
Grenade
enemies when
build
they
makes
get hit.
sense, right?
Yeah,
you
to
live
scorch
the
them.
ground with grenades. I get that, right? But like all these things where like you get more accuracy while it, like all these gun air-based builds are not going to do you any good in PvE.
I read it and I didn't really understand the ending with this. Try this with Xenophage. I sort of read that and I thought, who's using Xenophage against things that are going to die in one shot?
Right?
Like your Xenophage is generally for like your champion or your boss. It's not for your acolyte.
This feels like Bungie's attempt to give the warlocks an Actium War rig of give you something you don't have to reload in certain situations. So it's not quite a full Actium War rig, but it's on the way there. Jump up, be in the air, use all the solar.
Half-thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actium sausage links instead of a full war pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's something. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say don't give me the ability not to have to reload because it breaks my immersion and my float. I don't know. Winter's Guile. So, due to the nature of the Stasis Warlock's melee ability, the exotic was previously a disappointing choice for that subclass. So they give it a new perk. When you're playing with when you're playing with your Stasis subclass, not one of your Stasis subclasses, there's only one. Now combatants encased by your Penumbral Blast melee will automatically shatter after a short delay. So you can just encase everyone, stand there, look at your watch, and watch them die. Versus having to then go back by and kill them. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can just walk by and go, you'll be dead soon. Just wait for it. And just continue on your merry way.
Again, like could be all right against certain champions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Stasis Warlock needed any help necessarily.
No, absolutely not.
Turrets, anybody? Turrets? You get a turret, and you get a turret, and you get a turret, and you get a turret. And how many can you have up? I think I've seen like 5 up at a time or something like
I
that.
think the maximum you can have turret-wise, I think it's 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard somebody that had a build with 6 going, but that may have been with multiple people running it. I don't remember all the details. But yeah, but if you've got 3 warlocks with 3 turrets, you can just hang out.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do
terrible.
it in Glassware. We used to do 2 Stasis Warlocks and just lock that entire, like when you go in on the Glassware Nightfall, and there's the little room on the left-hand side, just lock that down with Stasis turrets, and it was. Yeah.
You just built a necromancer class at that point. You're like, I'm just gonna stand here and let my turrets do the work for me.
Yeah.
Thank God they don't move though, right? I mean, yeah, they track, but can you imagine if the little efforts had legs on them? Oh my God.
Okay, so if you use the colony grenade launcher with your stasis turret, then you can load your turret onto the.
Put the spider on the turret.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see somebody just like
Bungie,
one of those
exotic?
YouTube clips where the game glitches out just once. I want to see a turret on top of like a spider, a spider nade. Yeah. Oh,
Bungie
man.
wouldn't give us that because that's silly gameplay, and we don't do that here. We are very serious gamers here in Destiny Land. Only serious gameplay.
Indeed.
So that was the end of our next round of exotic changes. So that's what they're giving to us, and they're gonna, they basically said, hey, we're gonna be doing more exotic changes as we look at the other selection of things that nobody has touched for 4 years. Because why would you? But we're gonna do some ability changes because it's a new season, so why not? Do one of you want to take us through what the ability changes are going to be?
The ability changes. Is Hunters first again?
I mean, there's just ability preview, so it's everybody.
Okay, I'll take a look.
There's a mix of everything.
Here we go. All right, hey folks, Combat Gameplay Team here to run through the ability changes coming with Season 22 later this month. 22, good God. Before we get into the actual changes, let's go over our goals for this season. Number 1, reduce the uptime and potency of barricade abilities, particularly in high-level PvP activities. Oh, great. We nerfed the life. Now we're giving it back. Thank you, Bungie. My life just got so much better. Reduce the potency of Striker Titan in high-level PvP activities, both in neutral game and when supers come up. Thank you. correct the one-size-fits-all nature of suspend in the combat sandbox. What does that mean?
You can suspend everything all the time, and there's no real difference in it. One
Yeah.
suspend works the same way on your smallest thrall and your biggest ogre.
I'm okay with that. Don't touch that. Leave it the hell alone.
I think it's as well because of like you can suspend overloads and you can suspend barriers and you can suspend.
Yes, leave it like
faces. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see what they're getting at, but at the same time, yeah, leave it like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. If you want to change it, make it so that we can actually suspend some roaming bosses. Mm-hmm.
Got some bad news for you.
Yeah, to pop a barricade and just tell Riven to shut up.
No, not even just Riven, but no, because Riven's not. No. I'm talking about like the Witch Queen. You know, when you fight her and like it's her tangible body, you just suspend her and she's like, well, damn.
So you don't want to suspend Riven and tell her to shut up?
Riven is huge.
I don't care. One size fits all, mate. Let's go for it.
Yeah, but you don't even see her whole body unless you're falling. That's the only time you see her whole body.
She's about to be like that again when she gets suspended, so I can have a look.
Suspend the bits you care about. The rest of the body, fine. We don't care. Just suspend the parts that are going to hurt you.
Okay. Yeah, no. Leave Strand alone. Strand it's in a good place. I don't want to mess with Strand. Leave it alone. Stop touching things, Bungie. Stop.
Well, they're also
touching things.
Well, they're also going to rebalance the Strand fragments and bring up the bad ones and smash down the good ones. Because it's Bungie.
Damn it. What if?
Have they ever realised that the bad ones are bad and we don't use them for a reason? Because they're bad and they don't do anything that's worthwhile.
Because we're too busy using the good ones. So clearly we need to bring the good ones down too. Otherwise we get power creep forever.
Yeah, but when they say they're going to buff, we're going to buff this one. It's like, yeah, but it's how much you buff it? It's still rubbish. We don't want it.
But it's.
I mean, I don't know, man. I wouldn't mind seeing Gunslinger come back. I miss the whole everybody's required to have the Gunslinger with the Hawk helmet on to do massive damage days.
Celestial Nighthawk, yeah. It's such a shame. That thing's got some real dust on it as well. And it's a beautiful helmet.
It is. And even the mods are really nice too, man. But
yeah.
Even when the Celestial Nighthawk pales in comparison to like most other supers, it's like, come on, man. Really?
And even if you are using Gunslinger, I believe it does less damage to Celestial Nighthawk than Star Eater Scales does.
That too, yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Things happen.
That kind of annoys me because Star Eater Scales is an all-round exotic. You can use it on anything. Celestial Nighthawk is specifically just for Gunslinger. In my eyes, if one of them's going to be better than the other one, Celestial Nighthawk should definitely be the better one of the two.
I agree entirely. And then there are other things I wouldn't mind seeing, like Nova Warp. That is an aesthetically pleasing super. Like, I mean, just you're a warlock and you just surge with so much power that it explodes out from your body while you're floating around, just devastating everybody. Aesthetically, that's a good looking super. It should be better, in most aspects. And even the Titans, man, I feel for you for your. Well, no, actually, yours is top damage dealing, so I take that back. Forget anything I just said about Titans. Actually, no, your Void. Your Void used to have a really good build with everything just blowing up because of Void damage or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Give everybody detonators on their chests. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And, I could stand to see some things come back,
There's nothing funnier. One of the best things I've ever seen, even when I was playing a Titan in PvP, was a Warlock freezing me mid-air during a Thunder Crash.
Oh my god, I've seen so many of those online. It's so funny.
The way you just fall is absolutely fantastic. You're just like, yeah, I'm going to go. No. Whoops.
You had dreams and saved that super for the right moment, and then nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yeah. The Warlock's just like melee. No, I don't think so.
And the thing about it is, it doesn't even. It's not even like a super like freeze or whatever. It's just their melee.
Yeah.
You know, you come. Yeah. It's just their charged melee, and you're done. It's game over for you, dude. Why are you still playing this game?
But it's still funny watching it fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been penumbra blasted. Have a nice life.
You slowly just float to the floor like a leaf falling from a tree. It's fantastically funny.
Like a leaf on the wind. So, do you want to tell us what they are doing in the game? Now that we've gone through your wish list.
Yeah, sorry about that. Starting off with Barricade, this ability is a potent tool for closing off lanes. Bunkering under fire, creating safe spaces to get revived, and gathering information from relative safety in PvP specifically. The prevalence of barricades can slow down the pace of play in a manner that doesn't have much in the way of meaningful counterplay. Well, yeah, we've said that for years. We've been experimenting for a while with opt-in ways to play around barricades. I'm sorry, opt-in? Yeah, you know what, guys? No, I'm going to join this lobby. I choose for you guys not to use your barricades. I'm checking that box. Nope. No, I don't want to deal with barricades. Towering Barricade. Base cooldown increased from 48 seconds to 70? Wow. I don't even like Titans, and I think that's a bit much. That is a crazy nerf. Towering Barricade, that's your tall one, right? That's the one that makes the wall, right? Yeah.
That's the towering one.
70-second cooldown?
Yeah. I'm wondering because it tiptoes on PvE in a couple of places when they talk about this. Like, does that mean that we're going to a 70-second cooldown in PvE?
I mean, that might be in general, homeboy.
Yeah, no, because like in places,
never going to use that again.
Yeah, because in places, obviously, it talks of reduce the uptime and potency of barricade abilities, particularly in high-level PvP activities. Well, if that's the place where you think it's a problem, why are you changing it in PvE as well?
Right. And on top of that, they're reducing the health again. Because I know they did this a couple seasons back, right? Without ever giving it back. So this is a double shield health nerf. So it's going from 600 health to 500 health now. Damage resistance in PvE damage resistance versus PvE combatants increased to compensate. Okay. Wait a second.
So
how can you reduce the maximum health but increase damage resistance?
Because it takes more damage to get that 500 down to 0.
Damage is a measurement, okay? And health is a measurement.
Resistance. Yeah, so if it has higher resistance, so if I punch this wall and it takes 10 every time I punch it, or I punch the wall and it takes 20 every time I punch it, it takes me longer to punch through that wall.
Thunder Crash increased base cooldown from 500 to 556. Ooh, nice. Matching the majority of our roaming super roster. So wait, it was actually faster than the other roaming supers?
It's not a roaming super. You cannot tell me Thunder Crash is a roaming
super. You're literally flying!
You cannot tell me it's a roaming super. You cannot tell me it's a roaming super.
You can't tell me. How is it not?
It is it's a roaming super the same way that your Blade Barrage is a roaming super. It's a one and done.
No.
You hit the
if you're skilled enough with using it, you can go next to somebody and kill them without detonating your Thunder Crash. So yes, you can technically kill somebody and keep going. Yeah. Now a lot of people don't do that; they'll just crash right into somebody and kill them. But technically, you have the ability to kill them and keep going.
No, you said skill. Titans don't have skill.
Yeah.
That is something that you have argued in the past, actually, recently.
No, I'm not saying Titans have skill. So. I said if you have skill, right? So
we don't.
And then I also said technically. So you really got those two qualifiers. They matter. They matter. All right.
You cannot tell me this is a roaming super. I'm sorry. No. You can treat it like a roaming super, Bungie, but you cannot tell me with a straight face is a roaming super.
There's no better definition of roaming than the ability of flight. Hell, even warlocks can't fly; they float. You know.
The other Arc super is a roaming super. That one is a one and done. I don't care that I can travel. So can your knives. So can the giant. Is the Chaos Reach a roaming super?
Technically, a little bit.
Their whirlwind thing is a.
They can move. They don't move very far, but they move.
Yeah.
All right. Suspend is currently a skeleton key that solves combat problems against all combatants. Yes, it is. Please don't touch it. Its current duration heavily steps on the toes of stasis freeze. which we want to
Can't
keep
keep
as the
saying don't
highest
touch it
potency
if they're
disable
touching
in the
it.
sandbox. Why?
They also touch knockout. They reduce the damage
Oh, sorry.
bonus versus players from 50 to 30 for knockout. So
What is knockout?
that's what the Titans are doing to you in PvP.
It's
What
allows us
is
to
what is
punch.
the ability knockout? Better?
Yeah, it's sort of like it's you know your combination blow.
Yes.
Knockouts is like a watered down version of that, but in PvP it's like a
Is that the one
up
where you
version of
charge
that.
and it shoots the lightning out front? Is that what that is?
No. Knockout is if you get a melee kill, your next melee does more damage. So it's what allows you to sort of get like it's what a lot of people have complained about in PvP because it allows them to one punch people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so suspend is a skeleton key. We said that. Bungie's upset because it disables longer than stasis, and they want stasis to be top dog. The uptime of suspending atoms doesn't allow for meaningful player decision making when choosing when and where to place a hard disable. The uptime of suspending atoms? Am I missing something? Does that mean something to somebody else? Or are they actually talking about like atoms, like molecules?
Yeah, like the building blocks of life.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know why they're talking about it in terms of atoms, but here we are. There's a scientist somewhere at Bungie who wrote this line.
Exactly. You see, what happened was, if you measure stasis in terms of Kelvin instead of Celsius, then it actually equates to be this much. Whatever. Suspend. Reduce the base suspend duration versus non-champions in PvE. Okay, that's not too bad. From 8 seconds to 5 seconds. Thread of continuity now extends this duration to 7 seconds. Okay, down from 12. Oh no! Reduce base suspend duration versus champions and combatants from 8 to 3. What? Hold on. Hold on. I might be reading that wrong. Reduce base suspend duration versus champions from 8 seconds to 3, and only 4 with thread of continuity. Yo! No, sir! No.
You will still be able to stun the champions. You just won't be able to
I don't
suspend
give a
them.
damn if I can stun them. I want them to sit there and die. I want a dead body to hit the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Bungie have said next season when Crota comes back, we don't want you doing that.
I don't care. Whenever I throw a suspend, I want that champion to stay in the air until he's been team shot to death. The only thing that should hit the ground is a corpse. You understand me?
Okay.
Stupid.
Bungie doesn't.
3 seconds! You can't. Wow.
4 with thread of continuity.
And then 4 with thread of continuity. You could have at least brought it back up to 8 with thread of continuity. Come on, man.
If you're not killing a champion in 4 seconds, what are you doing with your life? Come on, get good.
Thread of mind. Reduce class energy gain based on tier of defeated target. Shut up. Stop laughing. That's dumb. Minor combatants reduced from thread of mind. Reduce class energy gain based on the tier of the defeated target. Minor combatants are from 15% to 10%. Major combatants and players reduced from 25 to 15. Good God. And bosses, champions, and mini bosses reduced from 50 to 25. Well, threat of... Why? You're making it unusable. It is not... granted, okay, it might be a smidge OP. A smidge, right? Which means to me, it should require a smidge of tweaking. This isn't a smidge of tweaking. You're nuking Strand. And I'm only 2 paragraphs in, man. What the fluff? God. Thread of generation. Reduce the overall energy gain, of course you did, per damage event against PvE enemies by about 20%. Rebalance the energy gain multiplier across primary weapon archetypes. We wanted to bring the energy gains for dealing damage with precision weapons and fully automatic weapons closer together. Overall, we've reduced the efficiency of fully automatic primary weapons and increased the efficiency of precision primary weapons to compensate. Man, I understand they didn't want the bosses to float as long. I'm sorry, not bosses, but they want us to hold a champion in the air until it dies. I understand that, right? But these other changes have nothing to do with that. Why? Why are you doing this all this other crap? That's not necessary. We don't need threat of mind nerfs. We don't need threat of generation nerfs. It's not necessary. You've nerfed the most potent aspect of the build, which is the suspend. All this other stuff is just overkill. This is personal. Somebody took Strand personally. All right? Whomever made Stasis or whatever is butthurt that Strand is so much better. And they've made it a personal vendetta to take it to the board to say this stuff needs to change. Right? And whoever you are, you should be ashamed. Your mama don't love you, and I hope your goldfish gets Alzheimer's, okay?
I got some bad news for you about goldfish, but that's okay. I think they're over there. You've not threatened them.
I didn't threaten them. I wished negative tidings. There's a difference. Threadlings. Increase threadling damage versus PvE combatants by 30%. That's not bad. Tangles. Reduced, right? Reduced tangle creation cooldown time from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. Again, not bad. Sever. Okay, Sever. Okay. PvE combatants affected by Sever now have their outgoing damage reduced by 40% versus 30%. How not bad is that? Cool. Skill Strike. I'm sorry, Silk Strike. Oh, no, I don't want to read this. Silk Strike. Increase Silk Strike damage resistance from 40 to 45. Oh, they buffed it. Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna. Oh, yeah.
If you too enjoy Respawn's real-time reactions to what's going on, you should go to patreon.com/TTH and you can get all the good times and Respawn's uncut live reactions to everything as he reads it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Reduce suppression time. Reduce suppression time between skill strikes, super air attacks. Reduce suppression time between silk strikes, super air attack. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's nice. Reduce vertical lift provided by silk strike, heavy air attack to reduce instances of missing a primary target. Very nice. Okay, these are straight buffs. Okay. Well, considering how you've killed the rest of the class, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this, but okay. It's a step in the right direction. And when we have Threaded Spectre, this is the Titans? No, this is the Warlock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Threaded Spectre. Increase Threaded Spectre lifetime from 10 to 12 seconds. Very nice. Increase Threaded Spectre health versus PvE combatants. Cool. Threaded Spectre now takes longer to detect nearby PvE combatants at the beginning of its lifetime. I think that's good, right? So I can identify a target instead of just shooting off in a direction where nothing's at, right?
Seems like it.
PvE combatants now more consistently focus on Threaded Spectre instead of the Hunter. Very nice. And allied plays... Oh, no, this is... No, okay, Threaded Spectre, that's my dodge thing. Okay. I forgot about it, because it's so new. I completely forgot about this damn thing. Alright, so this is more Hunter buffs. Cool. Allied players no longer have radical magnetism towards Threaded Spectre. Why would my allies have magnetic towards my Threaded Spectre? That makes no sense. Brood Weaver, this is the Warlock. The Wanderer. Destroying a tangle now creates a delayed suspending detonation. Why would you want it to be delayed? Any ideas?
I don't even use Strand on a Warlock.
Okay. Increase suspend detonation radius from 6 to 7 meters. Cool. Means you can grab more things. And increased thrown wanderer tangle detonation damage to match standard tangle detonation. So you're telling me that the thrown one was weaker? Why would Bungie? You're dumb, Bungie.
Probably because they didn't want it to be too strong and said, let's bring it out, see how it performs, and then buff it if it's too weak. So we don't have to nerf it if it's too
Tangle
strong.
explosion. It should have been a Tangle explosion. Whatever. Okay, so for you grapple, your grapple melee always takes priority while active, regardless of whether or not a target is within range. I like that because I'm sick and tired of my stupid little freaking. Don't get me wrong,
Grapple
like
melee,
I'm on the
not grapple
ground
melee.
and I need my kunai to go out and hit a bunch of people to help me get my grenade back. Yes, but when I'm flying through the air and I'm trying to kill enemies while flying through the air, I don't want that ability. So thank you, Bungie. That's a much needed change. Okay.
And then Bungie answers your atoms question. Apparently, they're referring to the strand things as atoms.
Oh, okay. Okay, yep. There we go. Thread of propagation now grants plus 10 strength. Thread of continuity no longer grants 10 strength. What? Thread of wisdom no longer requires a precision kill to activate. That's cool. Thread of isolation reduce the number of precision hits required to activate by an average of about 30%. Very nice. And thread of rebirth, the number of created threadlings now increases based on the tier of defeated target. Okay. So minor commands give you 1, elites give you 2, and boss, champion, or mini boss give you 3. Not bad. Oh, this is coming season 22. And that's it. Alright, cool. There's your ability changes. Some good, most bad, but there you go.
Yep. And they're doing more changes in season 23, just like more exotic stuff down the line in season 23.
Mm-hmm.
We'll learn about those later.
Yeah.
Around
But guess
season
what?
23.
What?
They've replaced Zavala's voice actor for the English version.
They have.
That's cool, isn't it?
It depends on who it is.
Well, he's an amazing actor. He's also been in Halo. You might know him as the Arbiter.
He played himself in the Saints Row series, and also Julius Little in the Saints Row series.
There you go. But his name is Keith David. Respawn's kind of lost here, aren't you?
I'm
Respawn?
completely lost. Yeah, kind of. No.
You've absolutely
I'm
heard his
actively
voice.
Googling who this is.
He's been in a trillion things. He also did a lot of Mass Effect voice. Like I think he's
that
done
guy.
like 200 something
okay.
voice roles. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, if you would know, if you two at home are going, who is Keith David? Who is Keith David? Guarantee you will know his voice. You will hear his voice and go,
and see his face and go, oh yes,
yeah,
I know him.
He's been in TV for like 40 years. Yeah, okay. I just didn't know his name.
Yeah, he's done all the things.
So many things.
And the thing is that somebody pointed out, I think it was on the DCP podcast, if they'd retired Zavala from the story because of Lance Reddick, they were also putting other voice actors from other countries out of work. So,
good, very good point.
Oh, I see how it is. It's okay to super kill Cade because his voice actor's leaving, but not Zavala. Come on, really, Bungie? That's racist. Okay,
because nobody cares about hunters.
Yeah.
Bungie didn't say that. Somebody else said that on DCP. So there, it wasn't even Bungie.
And
stop raging out at every little thing.
And honestly, I mean,
have you met me?
Since they built 9 years of game around Zavala kind of as the main character, I'm gonna guess that their story with him isn't quite done yet.
What?
Yeah,
is he the main character though? He's the Vanguard, commander.
He's the leader.
Yes,
He's the one who saved us with a bubble a number of times. He
saved you.
Oh yes.
He had a whole. He, unlike Ikora, has done more in game than built a Stargate and then stood around for 4 years.
Hey, I've seen him take down ships with Nova bombs. All right,
No, I love Ikora. I wish they would do more with Ikora, but I'm saying they just forgot.
And Ikora that when Cade died, she was ready to go to war. She was bringing everyone. All right, she was not about to fuck around.
Right. Which Bungie? When do I get to see this? Give Ikora a story. Let me see this. Let me watch it. Let me play it. Ikora has just been hanging out with Eris, going, yeah, we're here, we exist, but we're just kind of standing in the spot.
Hidden stuff. They're doing hidden stuff, so we don't know. When you need to know, they'll tell you that you need to know.
No, they
But you don't need to know.
I tell you what, I did at that moment right there is when I respected Ikora. I've always liked her voice actress, so I really wanted to like Ikora. But it wasn't until Kate died and she was ready. She was like, "Get everyone in here now! We are." Oh man, she was all about it, and I was like, "You know what? I like you."
Only in relation to Kate, though.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there?
I've always liked the implication with Ikora that she's the one that broke off Shax's horn.
Yeah, I've heard that. Somebody said that there's lore about it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
that would have been half. Half would have told you there's lore behind it.
Yeah, probably.
The fireman extraordinaire.
But as far as Shax's lore goes, I don't care. This is me personally, but the fact that he's nailing the queen is the best piece of lore I've ever learned in the game.
To be fair, you read all the lore. It's a case of who's not.
Who's not sleeping with it? Yeah, I know. She's got half the universe in her bottom drawer. I know.
Yeah.
But Keith did say that he's very honoured to become our Vanguard leader, and he's honoured to continue the great work of Lance Reddick as Zavala. Lance captured the character's sense of integrity so wonderfully, and it is his intention to continue that work. So it's going to be really cool to see how they kind of integrate what's already Zavala and what Keith David's going to bring to Zavala. Because, like we said before, yes, we may have heard his last recording, but Zavala's voice lines are still in the game, and they've got no plans to kind of re-record like they did with Peter Dinklage with Nolan North with the Ghost. So we're still going to have Zavala as Lance Reddick, and going forward in some story beats, Keith David. So
what? Hold on. So you're telling me I'll be in one strike with Lance Reddick and the next strike with I was going to say Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Keith,
but
with Keith, yeah,
They're
possibly.
I don't know. Well, I'm not sure I like that. That would be weird. And I know some people are like, well, it's weird hearing Cade in some strikes. Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. But like hearing two different versions of the same guy, it's gonna be weird.
It depends if they do Zavala. I mean, maybe they're going to move his story out. Maybe they're going to give us a grumpy old Zavala that's a little bit upset after everything that's happened to Sloane and Amanda Holiday and everything else. And he's just going to come out and he's going to be like, you know what? Don't care anymore. Different iteration of Zavala. His voice is going to be different because, you know, he's mad.
I don't see him getting grumpy, though. He gets more sad than anything. Over time with his wife, his kid, you know, you add Amanda onto that. I don't see him getting grumpy. I just see him getting depressed. He seems like the depressed kind.
Everybody's got a snapping point, and maybe Zavala's going to hit his, and we're going to get grumpy old man Zavala that just wants to snap necks.
That wouldn't be grumpy. That would be hostile, and I'm okay with hostile.
I want to see Zavala get to that point, hit that low, grab Save 14 and saying, we're going to the Vex Network. We're going to bring the fight to them. And that's the season I want to play.
Zavala wielding Save 14 by the ankle.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that. Nobody just swinging Save 14.
And nobody will see it coming because they'll be blind.
Yeah,
all right.
So, as this show is slowly going off the rails, I better bring it back onto the rails for this week in Destiny for the 10th of August.
Oh, we sped this off the rails, sir.
Yeah, you did from the first couple of minutes, so I'm lucky that we've got this far. So this week, because we're not looking at last week, because we've already been over that, and it was such a short week. If you missed Solstice, you missed Solstice. If you didn't play Trials last week, you didn't play Trials. So there you go. So this week, there's an important update on the future of Zavala's journey, which we've just discussed. A new exotic mission rotator details, which we'll get into. We did go into the developer insight for Season 22 for the abilities and armor changes preview and, you know, the previous state of the game. So we've discussed that. Age gating changes. Grandmaster Science Battleground Moon is back, which we know if we've already played this week. So it's back. And there's a reminder to save the date for the 22nd of August for the showcase. The Witch Queen enters the PlayStation Plus, and there's Art of the Week and Movies of the Week to cover. So, as we've already said, thank you to Lance Reddick for his work that he's done, and hello to Keith David, who's going to be taking over Zavala in the final shape and beyond. Exotic mission rotators. Now, how excited are you about this? And when Bungie initially said exotic mission rotators, how many of you out there thought Whisper of the Worm and 0 Hour were going to come back so that you'd be seeing whatever his face was? Trevor, that's his name.
Trevor.
Yeah. How many of you out there thought that was going to be the case? That we'd end up seeing
so badly.
I want to see some. I will volunteer to take new lights in there. 100%.
See, when I heard that they were going to do the exotic mission rotators, I thought that where they were talking about those missions as well, that they would be put back in the game, and the exotics might be removed from the kiosk to say, right, this is where you go and get said exotic from. But this is how OG players got it. You don't necessarily need to go to the kiosk to buy it. It's now back in the game as a mission rotator. Not at the moment.
But
but
the weapon sucks nowadays, man.
It might not suck. So with season 22 around the corner, they wanted to peel back the curtain on some new details about the exotic mission rotator. So, do you want to hear their goals?
Sure.
They had goals.
I know.
They wanted a home for
So many
seasonal
homes.
exotic missions after the year has passed, and a place where over time they can bring fan favorite exotic missions back from the past. So we could possibly see the Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak perfected missions, a source for seasonal exotic mission weapons and their catalysts, and a new consistent source of legacy seasonal rewards. So to support these goals, and so that they can continue to add to this rotator in the future, they need to create rules and modify how these activities and the rewards work. So exotic weapons entering the playlist will become craftable. Each mission will feature a normal
Sorry,
and
what?
legendary.
Hold on, what? Did you say
What?
exotic weapons will be craftable?
Yes.
Like all of them?
Yes. Yes. The ones that are going into the exotic mission rotators, the 3 exotic weapons, will be craftable. I don't know, because they don't detail it here. I don't know whether this is everybody starts from scratch. So you need to go and play it like 5 times to get 5 red borders to then unlock that weapon.
Probably.
It'll probably be that case.
That's how they're going to get me in there.
Yeah.
But what? Hold on. You have the Hawk Moon. Okay. Craft.
No, but
No,
that's
Hawkmoon's not coming back.
It's not yet. That'll probably be another one at some other point.
But no, but I mean, like exotics that we know that have the capability of different roles aside from like the static one, right? The only ones that changed so far is DMT and Hawk
Yep.
Moon, right?
No.
No?
And Revision 0?
True. Okay, so those are going to be the 3
Excalibur.
craftables.
Yes,
Oh,
but
the
Excalibur's
Excalibur
in the
too. Oh,
game
wow, that's
at the
4.
moment. But there's an
Oh,
exotic
yeah.
mission that you can do at the moment. So that's not in this exotic rotation as yet. But in future, that will probably be moved into the exotic rotation. So each mission, as I said, will feature a normal and legendary difficulty. Each mission features a pool of legacy seasonal rewards, armor, and craftable weapons. So thematic overlaps with their associated missions. So these craftable weapons are crafted weapons that we've had season over season that have now kind of gone out of the rotation. And the only way that you can possibly get these is if Zer brings them, you get them as a random world drop, or the gunsmith brings them, and then you can put your red borders into them via the season pass. So there will be craftable weapons in there to get if you've missed out on any of these. So my Tears of Contrition that I was wanting to get, instead of having to go and buy 2 from Zer the other week and then put my exotic cipher thingies into that, or my red border cipher things from my season pass, I could now just go and play these missions and have a chance for them to drop and then extract the red border patterns. So that's a good thing. So each mission features the same reward behavior. Mission dialogue and narrative move forward after each active completion and reset after each dialogue set have been played, and legacy triumphs cannot be progressed. So if you missed out on doing them the first time, you cannot progress them. Below is a list of exotic missions and their associated rewards that are available starting in Season 22. These missions will rotate weekly and continue throughout Lightfall year and beyond. They'll be adding exotic missions that launch during Lightfall seasons into the rotation with the final shape, and you can expect more additions to follow. So, to start off with, we have Presage, and the exotic weapon from Presage was the Dead Man's Tale. It's now going to be craftable with new trait pool, armor and weapons from Season of the Haunted. So, your weapons and armor that you can get. We have the Arc Adaptive Glaive, Nezaric's Whisper, the Stasis Aggressive Frame Rocket Launcher, Bump in the Night, the Kinetic Precision Frame Scout Rifle, Tears of Contrition, the Void Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle, Hollow Denial, the Kinetic Precision Frame Auto Rifle, Firefright, the Solar Lightweight Frame Shotgun Without Remorse, the kinetic adaptive frame hand cannon or stringer, the solar sidearm Drang, the solar adaptive frame sniper Beloved, and the solar submachine gun Callus mini tool. So you see what they've done there. They've put two lots of pools of weapons in there. You've got season armor and weapons from Season of the Haunted, and then you've got the opulent weapons in there as well. So if you've missed out on any of those, because that all came in kind of the same package that season, there was quite a lot of weapons, and I had real trouble trying to pronounce these for like the video for next week. It's the Idealion's Percent armor set. It's, to describe it, it looks like the moon set, but it's green. It has kind of moony kind of symbols on it. So there's that set that's going to be available in that exotic mission. But this will require you to own Beyond Light or Season of the Chosen. So if you had purchased Season of the Chosen separately and hadn't kind of completed it, you will still have access to the Presage mission. And the same is if you owned Beyond Light, you don't necessarily need the season. As long as you own Beyond Light, you have access to this exotic mission. So the next exotic mission is the Vox Obscura. So this was the mission that was on Mars, where the Presage was the one that was the floating spaceship with a lot of lore in it. Really cool. It had the Crown of Sorrow at the end. So that led into a couple of seasons of Crown of Sorrow stuff. Anyway, Vox Obscura, that was on Mars. And the exotic weapon from there was the Dead Messenger. So this was a exotic grenade launcher.
You said Season of the Haunted, right?
Sorry?
You said Season of the Haunted armor and weapons, right? Isn't the Season of the Haunted armor the cool bony armor with the red skeleton faces?
No, that was an Eververse item.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Of course it was. If you ever think, was the cool armor from this? No, it was absolutely Eververse.
So the Dead Messenger was a grenade launcher, and one shot of the grenade launcher had the projectiles that went out in a fan of 3 energies on the waves on the ground.
Yep.
And it also had the fundamentals, which is where you can tap the trigger and it changes to arc, void, or solar.
Yep, the hard light version of a waveframe grenade launcher.
Yes, indeed. So with Vox Obscura, as I said, the Dead Messenger is your exotic grenade launcher. The craftable weapons available from the mission are the Solar Waveframe Grenade Launcher, Explosive Personality, the Stasis Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun, Recurrent Impact, the Void Precision Frame Bow, Under Your Skin, the Arc Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle, Sweet Sorrow, that's a good one, the Stasis Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle, Thoughtless, and the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle, Peace of Mind. Again, another good one. And that had the Tusk Allegiance armor set. So that was the kind of red one that had the big tusks on it. Made you look like a Cabal, basically. So that was quite a good one. Yeah. And to play that mission, you either need to own the Witch Queen or have purchased Season of the Risen separately. So again, works the same way as the Presage. And then finally, we have Operation Seraph Shield, with the Revision 0 exotic pulse rifle being the reward. So again, this is going to be another craftable one. And the craftable weapons available from the mission include the Stasis Aggressive Frame Linear Fusion Rifle, Fire and Forget, the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow, Tripwire Canary, the Stasis Aggressive Burst Pulse Rifle, Disparity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle, Path of Least Resistance, and the Solar Aggressive Glaive, Judgment of Kelgroth. And another one was the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun, Retrofit Escapade.
Oh, that is gonna be good. Today I can't talk. Yo, if y'all don't have that, get it. That's all I'm gonna say.
And then you have another set of weapons, which is the Ikelos weapons. So you've got the Void Precision Frame Hand Cannon, the Ikelos Hand Cannon, version 3. The Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun, the Ikelos version 3. The Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle, version 3. And the Arc Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun, again, Ikelos SMG 1.0.3. And that will be the Warminds Avatar set. Again, a really cool looking set. Makes you look very Warmindy. And with that one, you do need to own either the Witch Queen or the Season of the Seraph. So those are your missions. Those are your parameters for those.
So if you're sitting here going, I haven't bought any of the things and I would like to have the most access, buy the Witch Queen and you'll get, honestly, the better loot pool. If you don't own Witch Queen or Beyond Light. And they're probably still on sale at this time?
Yes, possibly.
So now is a good time to buy them while they're on sale to get all of these things.
Yeah. So, weapon crafting rewards. First completion of the mission on normal or legend difficulty will award an exotic deep sight weapon associated with the mission. Extracting or dismantling this deep sight weapon will grant the pattern. Each completion of the normal or legendary version of the exotic mission will award an intrinsic upgrade that can be used when crafting the exotic weapon. Each completion of the legendary version of the exotic mission will award the catalyst upgrade for the crafted exotic weapon. It doesn't say anything about if you've already got the weapon and the catalyst for those weapons at the moment. I think we're just going to have to wait and see whether it's kind of a new version of the gun, and if you've already got the catalyst. Normally, when you've got the catalyst unlocked, you've got the catalyst unlocked. So it just might mean if you've got the weapon and you want to get a crafted version of it and then craft it to whatever you want, the catalyst will be unlocked with it. But it may be new things. It may be whole new parameters for it. The armor and the weapon rewards, so the normal and the legendary versions of the missions, have separate weekly reward lockouts. So the weekly mission rewards, one guaranteed deep sight weapon that has not had its pattern unlocked, and armor piece that has not already been obtained based on your current class. If all weapon patterns and armor have been obtained in the inline rotation mission, a random well drop will be awarded. On every completion, you will receive an additional weapon from the mission's weapon pool. However, the weapons that will not be on a knockout system or guaranteed deep sight behavior. The weapon can roll with deep sight, but this would be on a random percentage chance. So that's if you keep playing it over and over again. So you're guaranteed to get it the first time, but then if you keep going and going and going, you're not guaranteed to get it. Along with the mission rewards, there's also a weekly challenge. So this weekly challenge has the same armor and weapon loot pool as the exotic mission, which is in rotation. The challenge reward will output a pinnacle power and will prioritize the rewards in the following order. One guaranteed deep sight weapon that has not had its pattern unlocked. If the weapon pattern has been unlocked, the challenge will award one armor piece that has not already been obtained based on your current class. If all weapon patterns and armor have been obtained in the in-rotation mission, the challenge will output a random weapon or armor. Additionally, the exotic mission gives bonus progress for the Xenology quest from Xur, 4 points for completing on normal and 7 for completing it on legend. And what is the Xenology quest from Xur? Is that just doing missions?
Go do things to pick up a new exotic cipher so you can buy a second exotic from Xur each week.
Ah, there you go. How do we feel on this? Are you guys a bit upset that we didn't see Whisper and like you said, the Hawkmoon mission? That would have been a fantastic one to come back because that had 3 different versions of it. So I could imagine if that one came back, they could play around with that quite a lot, because I remember doing a whole walkthrough guide of explaining to you guys how to go through and get all the different feathers for the challenges. And then the next week they completely changed it with where things spawned, what things did. And it was like so bizarre, but it was amazing that they did that in an exotic mission.
But you didn't give us a full audio walkthrough of the second and third versions. Very disappointing.
I didn't know. but now we're content creators. I'm sure we could do something with that.
Yeah, when I heard the rotator was coming back, I was like, I didn't really enjoy doing it the first time around, but now I do appreciate that they're putting all these loot. It's not just the exotic; it's all these loot pools from past seasons. Mm-hmm. So again, like we talked about last week, if we said, hey, go play Gambit. It's the only place to get a void machine gun, except for the retrofit escapade now being back in this loot pool, which. Again, I'm glad that people who didn't get these things to craft, or, like you, who were stuck at, 3 of 5 or 4 of 5 because you just couldn't get the last one to drop. It sounds like you're basically going to have 2 chances of a guaranteed red border, one for the completion and one for the quest each week. So at least it'll give you a reason to replay it, because I assume the weekly quest will be like, go do this 2 or 3 times or something to finish this quest. So at least you'll have more reason than to just play it once. And they are bringing back the demand sale with the different loot pools. So even if you have one, maybe there's another combination of going, I'd like to get that one instead. So there's a reason to go back into these, at least either as a catch up, or if you miss these seasons entirely, there's a lot of really good weapons in these loot pools that are craftable that you can go unlock and play with.
Respawn, Noble. Any thoughts?
I zoned out. What?
I mean, I don't so much care about. Revision 0, it's still craftable. They haven't made any changes to it, so I don't really care about that, because I did that one. The only thing I do care about is the fact that the patterns are back. Brilliant, pattern, but it's the only thing I sort of find interesting there is the fact that the patterns are back, which is going to be brilliant because there's some nice weapons in there, like the retrofit escapade, for example, like the Ikelos SMG, the Ikelos shotgun, the Ikelos hand cannon. Like some of those things have
SMG
got.
nerfed, shotgun nerfed, hand cannon nerfed. The only good thing out of there is the first one that you mentioned.
SMG is still a good one to
the
get.
SMG is still amazing to have. And you say that, but it's nerfed. How often do things get rebuffed? So having the pattern and having the weapon sat there ready, it's no heartache, is it? You know what I mean? It's one thing in your vault, which I've now got too much missing. And then,
Yeah, but that one thing adds up to another thing, which adds up to two things. And then, those two things add up to one more thing, which would make three things. And those three things, yeah.
Like Callus Mini Tool coming back. Callus Mini Tool's fantastic. Ostriger's coming back. Craftable. Fantastic. It does interest me to see what new traits are coming on weapons, because like on DMT, it says it's got a new trait pool. And then obviously on Dead Messenger, Dead Messenger was a static roll weapon. Now it's craftable, and it's got an additional trait. Excellent. It's going to be interesting to see what the additional trait is on those two. But
I was just more concerned about the missions coming back. Like the Whisper of the Worm mission, it was timed, and at the time it was kind of fun and it was kind of interesting. And then the other one they made timed as well, but they didn't do it as well as they did with the Whisper of the Worm, so it just seemed not good. I don't know.
But they're not coming back yet.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they're going to maybe do them yearly. So, like, for a year we're going to have these ones, and then maybe in a year's time we'll get the other ones.
But I know Bungie likes reusing content because it's less programming for them, and all they got to do is take something they've already made and bring it back. But with new seasons coming up, and especially supposedly the end of the light or whatever, right? I want to see new stuff. I'm kind of tired of seeing old stuff. You won't give me back Sparrow Racing League, which is the only old thing that I want. So just like, well, that's not true. I guess Zavala Supercell. I would smack my grandma's baby for Zavala Supercell. I'll tell you what.
But on the same hand, that's kind of.
What's that?
At the same time, that's kind of countering yourself there, though, isn't it? Because I'm not bothered about old stuff back, but I want this back because I want it, and I want that back because I want it. Other than that, keep your old stuff.
No, but like, there's what I'm trying to say is, there's no real interest for me to have them bring old stuff back. Like gun to my head, like, oh, we're gonna bring something back. What do you want? Okay, gun to head, Zavala Supercell. But honestly, something else entirely, something I've never seen. Something good that I've never seen. Because whenever they gave us that stasis grenade launcher that did 0 damage, I've never seen that. But it's
you don't know. You don't know if you are going to get something new, though. I mean, they're putting an additional trait on Vox Obscura. You've not a clue what that's going to be. That could end up being really good. So it is kind of new content. Well, it's kind of new content, kind of rehashed at the same time.
What do you think about this as the way for those who either missed those seasons and weapon pools, or again couldn't are sitting at 4 or 5 or 3 or 5 patterns? What do you think of that as a way, instead of just sorry you missed on that weapon, you can never craft it?
That's a good thing. I'll
there's at least a path to those now.
Yeah,
and it is on a rotator, so it isn't just a free for all. Because I like the rotator model of things not just being available all the time, because it feels like it's harder to find people to do things if it's just up all the time sometimes. Where if it's going, hey, this week this thing is up, let's go do it on the weekend. Let's go get together Tuesday night and knock this thing out, and go and grind this out to get our patterns or whatever. Versus it just being there all the time. I feel like there's that little bit of exclusivity where it's not gone forever, but at least it's, hey, it's up this week. Here's the thing I'll go do this week.
Oh yeah,
it's all available.
That first week that the Presage is round, I am not going to be leaving that, because there is a few weapons on that list there that I missed the patterns for. But my biggest upset is the fact that I missed the pattern for Hollow Denial. So I will be in there hunting that down, the hardest I can hunt it. But basically everything else I got the pattern for.
So this is another good one for like new players, really.
Yeah.
For anybody to kind of catch up and get the weapons that you see people playing with and go, oh, I'd really like that. I've had one to drop. I like the feel of it. It would be nice if I could get a craftable. This is where I go and get it crafted that week. I'll be in there farming. So it's a good thing for new players again.
I think it's a good thing all round. Like you say, new and old. You know what I mean? New players are going to be able to go out and get that retrofit escapade that they see, Respawn raving about all the time. And, unfortunately, the bloke that missed it, I think I got retrofit, but, like if Perry missed it, he's going to be able to go out and get one, then craft it up and be like, oh, so this is what everybody was talking about. Cool.
Mm-hmm. All the void shenanigans.
I've got retrofit crafted, but I've never used it. Never.
Okay, well, everybody who's listening, don't be like that guy.
I use commemoration instead.
Okay, commemoration's good.
Yeah,
yeah,
but not as readily but not as
readily
available to everybody because it's it's raid locked as retrofit escapade. It's going to be that little bit easier because it's a free man activity. I mean, people even soloed like Set of Shield and stuff like that. So retrofit escapade is going to become a really good thing to have over having to have a group of 6 to go out and get commemoration.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about these weapons being crafted, not even so much for the crafting of them, but just going, okay, I have the pattern. So maybe I don't care about, the retrofit or any of these other weapons that we're talking about, but I want, to Natiman's point, I want the ability to craft them. If someone goes, well, like, hey, to get the new Wicked Implement, the new Scout Rifle, hey, get your retrofit escapade, craft it like this. Oh, I've got that pattern. Let me go grab it, play a couple of things with it, get it up to level, craft it, how people are telling me to go craft this, and now I've got a good weapon to go out and do this thing. So,
and not only that, but it's easier to get those red borders too. It's easier to get those red borders too because you have that item now that if you have a weapon that wasn't a red border, you can make it a red border and get its pattern.
Yeah,
so
the deep sight harmonizers.
That thing, yes.
Yep, so you can harmonize with the new season, have one that's not a red border to drop and go, I can fix that. If I'm sitting at 3, I can get to 5 much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got tons of patterns that I grinded out. I wanted the pattern, but I've never crafted the weapon, just going, well, I don't really care about this particular whatever. But if I need, if I want to, or if it becomes good, or if it goes, hey, here's a we're going to buff this perk and now it has a good perk combination. Now I can go craft and go play with it. You got me, Bungie. You got me to care about the exotic mission rotator. Good job.
Well, before you go and play your exotic mission rotator, you're going to need to check your age.
Why?
Because starting on August 15th,
way too old.
In order to be fully compliant with the ever-evolving landscape of the digital service legislation around the world, Bungie.net users will be prompted for their date of birth and country of origin or residence when signing in or creating a new account. All active sessions will expire on this date, so that's August 15th, so this week coming up, including our Destiny 2 companion app, any third-party sites, etc. You'll need to sign in again and enter your date of birth and country of origin or residence to use the services. And for more information on how Bungie uses and stores players' data, please see their privacy policy. So, something's changed in the world and Bungie want to keep up with it. There we go.
Yep. Looking at you, UK, and Canada, I think, are both working on legislation around protecting the children.
Yeah, probably. So, Battlegrounds Moon returns. Are you ready for the challenge?
No.
Are you?
No.
Have you done your Grandmasters this week, Noble?
Yes. Actually, about 20 minutes before I messaged you, I finally completed the Moon GM.
Oh, okay. Was it good this week? Was it a good challenge?
It was interesting. The person that we were with, we LFG deferred, did no comms with him whatsoever. But we got
that's good.
We got all the way to the end, and he was like, "Yeah, cheers for that. That was the last one I needed to get my Conqueror, but I had no idea what I was doing, so really sorry."
Oh, fair enough. At least you got him his Conqueror.
Right, brilliant. Thank you very much. That information would have been ace, 45 minutes ago, so that we could have got you in and had a conversation with you about it.
Yeah.
But it got done. It's taken me about 6 attempts to get that one GM done.
Yeah. Apparently it was hard, and they've made it slightly easier for you to do. So, there you go. So don't forget, August 22nd is just around the corner, and you want to set your watches and you want to be sitting in front of either Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, or Billy Billy?
Silly Billy.
What?
Silly Billy for their global showcase for Destiny 2. And they will have localized subtitles available for the following languages on these channels: French, German, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. The pre-show starts at 8 a.m. PT, and it actually starts at 9 a.m. PT. So for layman's terms, I've no idea when that is, to be honest. PT is Pacific time, and I'm just looking it up now.
8 hours before you all, because it's 3 hours before us, and then you're 5 hours after the East Coast. So 10 a.m. Pacific is 1 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. UTC. And then Australia, it's the next day in the morning. Evening.
There you go.
I just got different results off Google that says it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I thought it was 4 o'clock when he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 or 5. Listen, we do our best. Time zones are
Time zones are hard.
Yeah, they are. They're stupid. Hit them.
You'll figure it out. I believe in all of you.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah, 4 o'clock in the UK, so that you have, and that's the pre-show, and then it goes live at 5, and then it's only on for an hour or 45 minutes, and then we've got 15 minutes before the new season starts at 6 o'clock, which is our normal kind of reset time here. So that's probably about right.
See, there you go.
There you go. And if you're on PlayStation Plus, it's good news, because if you're a PlayStation Plus game subscriber for 6 months, starting on August 15th, you will have access to the Witch Queen. There you go. All the premium stuff that goes with the Witch Queen.
And who's that for?
That's for PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation
people.
PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium members.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's
I just read
the
the words. I don't know
PlayStation
what it
Plus
means
is just
either.
the standard. Like you've just Billy Basic, and then the extra or the premium gives you the access to the catalog. So like the Game Pass.
Fair enough.
Versus Xbox Live, Xbox Dead, and Xbox Zombie Edition.
Yeah.
Same thing. Night Demon, a wise fisherman once said, "Happiness is a big fish and a witness."
Ah.
I like that.
So, in addition to our fishing update, I have caught 3 exotics. How's your fishing going?
4 exotics.
Very good. Excellent. We have an end of season reminder. The Season of the Deep ends August 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we've just told you what that is in your various time zones. So if you're not in one of those time zones, you'll figure it out. I believe in you. There's some known issues. Oh yeah, the season ends. Claim all your things before the season ends, or don't. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But, the season ends, things will go away. It'll be a new season with new things to do. We've got some known issues. Your Captain Honored Centurions and the Gilded Precept Lost Sector are abnormally bright. Really, really looking spiffy these days. The Wishender Exotic Bow is not reliably shooting through Cabal and Hydra shields. So we have an unreliable Wishender. And certain sights on the Judgment Hand Cannon have lost the red dot. Just certain ones, though, not all of them. Those are all the new issues. There's other old issues. There's a known issues list. If you care, there's a link. You can go look at it. Cool. And then we have Art of the Week, Movies of the Week. And that brings us to the end of our week.
Huzzah!
Hello and welcome to the 13th and final week of Season 21, Season of the Deep, starting on August 15th, 2023. So for week 13, let's kick things off with our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Rio Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Taken Enemies and the Plague Inamina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be Ouroboros, which can be located over in the Aphelios Rest Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is In the Deep. The Trove Guardian and the Wandering Nightmare, Jax, Claws of Ziva-Arath, are both located at the Hellmouth. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Skolast, Pride, Omnigul, Anguish, and Zydron, Servitude. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on week 1's rotation with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow, Arsenic Bite 4B, the Arc Adaptive Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher, Blast 2, the Solar Precision Frame Linear Fusion Rifle, Corsair's Wrath, the Void Wave Frame Energy Grenade Launcher, Deafening Whisper, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon, Dire Promise, the Kinetic Precision Frame Sidearm, Enigma's Draw, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Submachine Gun, Escape Velocity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle, Giant 7 Rifle, the Kinetic Precision Frame Submachine Gun, Friction Fire, the Void Precision Frame Scout Rifle, Royal Chase, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon, True Prophecy, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Fusion Rifle, Timeline's Vertex. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Ritual, where the modifier is Fire Pit, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you'll have Altar of Reflections Catalyst and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is Desperate Measures, with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Solar Threat, Empath, Overcharged Weapons, Arc and Strand Surges, Overcharged Glaives, and Galvanized on Hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, Contest Mode enabled with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Arc Threat, Scorched Earth, Pestilence and Martyr modifiers, Arc and Strand Shields, with Void and Strand Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon Exotic mission on the EDZ. For the Season of the Deep, the featured fishing pond will be on the EDZ. Raids and Dungeons. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the first encounter, Cataclysm, called Illuminated Torment. This is where every Tormentor must be killed by a player with the Field of Light buff, with the Rufus's Fury Adept Auto Rifle being the Master Challenge reward. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the third encounter, Golgoroth, called Gaze Amaze. The Gaze Holder must stand in the pool of unclaimed light when swapping the gaze. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the second encounter, the Caretaker, called Base Information, where runners cannot pick up more than one stack of knowledge on each run. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Gatekeeper, called Strangers in Time. Players must defeat the Praetorians and Wyverns at the same time. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Tanix, called The Core 4. Guardians must dunk all 4 cores before each DPS phase. And the Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the second encounter, Spire Defense, called A Link to the Chain. This is where all Guardians must receive the Enlighten buff at the same time. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Last Wish over on the Dreaming City, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Players must activate and cleanse all 9 plates, then kill all 9 knights and ogres before damaging Kali. The second encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. The third encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Players must not kill the small ogres during the encounter. The fourth encounter, Vault, called Keep Out. Guardians must ensure that no Might of Riven Knights make it to the Center Chamber during the Vault fight. And the fifth encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven Eye twice. Also, with the Last Wish being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic heavy fusion rifle, 1000 Voices. And the Pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Duality over on the Derelict Leviathan on the Moon. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 79 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you complete 76 out of the 79, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed and that you might want to get completed in the next 2 weeks. Pinnacle. Reach power level 1810 by earning Pinnacle rewards. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Trial by Firing Squad. Win multiple rounds in Trials of Osiris. 4. Challenge XP+++, Bright Dust, and a Trials weapon. Fleeting Glory. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Floodtide. Acquire the Last Right Scout Rifle. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall on Hero difficulty or higher. 4. Challenge XP+, Bright Dust, and a Nightfall weapon. Commendation Appreciation. Earn progress for giving 10 commendations in Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit activities. 4. Challenge XP+, and Bright Dust. And Lost in Legend. Complete a Lost Sector on Legend or Master difficulty. 4, Challenge XP Plus, and Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily loss sector will show you a flag outside, which will give you details of threats, shields, champions, and exotic armor you'll find inside. But if you are new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the loss sector normally to have it show up on your map as a Legend/Master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, August 15th will be Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar and Void Shields, Epitaph Modifier, Overcharged Swords, with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Wednesday, August 16th will be Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Void and Arc Surges, Void Shields, Stalker Shield Modifier, Overcharged Snipers, with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, August 17th will be Val's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Void and Arc Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Fire Pit Modifier, with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Friday, August 18th will be Exodus Garden 2A on the Cosmodrome for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Arc and Void Surges, Void Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier with Barrier and Overload Champions. Saturday, August 19th will be the K1 Revelations on the Moon for exotic chests, Void Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Fire Pit Modifier, Overcharged Machine Guns with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Sunday, August 20th will be the K1 Crew Quarters on the Moon for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar Shields, Hot Knife Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Overload Champions. And finally, back round to Monday, August 21st will be the K1 Logistics on the Moon for exotic boots, Void Threat, Arc and Void Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Hot Knife and Chafe Modifiers, Overcharged Snipers, with Barrier and Overload Champions.
Lead the way.
Our 13th featured Nightfall of the season will see us face off against Sepkis Prime in the Devil's Lair Nightfall over on the Cosmodrome, where you have a chance to get a pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You will be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards, and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty, to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 4 Barrier and 8 Overload champions, with 5 Solar, 8 Void, and 17 Arc Shields. Masters will have 4 Barrier and 15 Overload, with 5 Solar, 8 Void, and 8 Arc Shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are Hero Difficulty, Maximum Effective Level 1765, Matchmaking is available, Enemies have extra shields, Champions Foe, you will face Barrier and Overload champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Arc Threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. Arachno, when defeated, Fallen Vandals spawn web mines at their feet. Overcharge weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. Overcharged Linear Fusion Rifle, 25% bonus damage with linear fusion rifles. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions Mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, base health regen is reduced, if near another player health regen is increased. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Overload Scout Rifle, and Overload Trace Rifle. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalest, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Ariana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword The Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet's Second Chance, which gain a second charge of his shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. And for Overload, the Void Energy Bow Le Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sidearm, the Buzzard. The Buzzard has a base impact of 49, range of 36 and stability of 67. It can roll with Frenzy, Rangefinder and Kinetic Tremors, with Pulse Monitor, Perpetual Motion and Overflow. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Lord Shaxx brings Momentum Control to the Crucible for the 13th and final week of the season. Momentum Control is a 6v6 PvP mode which is a variation on the regular control mode, where every weapon is significantly higher in lethality, meaning that you can take out your opponents much faster than normal. Respawns are instant, and defeating enemy players in Momentum Control will grant faster regeneration on your melee, grenade and super. Players get increased damage resistance when they activate a super, to help counteract that little bit of extra damage that the guns give out. The mode also has increased capture speed on points and radar is removed for every player. Achieve victory by capturing zones and defeating opponents. And Rift will be returning this week in the Relentless Crucible playlist. Rift is a 6v6 game mode that focuses heavily on objective-based gameplay and not just killing the enemy team. Instead of accruing points based on defeating enemies, players can score points by picking up the spark and dunking into their opponent's rift, which is near the enemy spawn. A team can either win by scoring 5 points before the opposing team can, by scoring 3 points without the enemy team getting a look in, or having more points when the time runs out. The spark spawns in the centre of the map and starts to charge after 6 seconds of the round starting, and becomes visible for all players on the map. After another 12 to 13 seconds, the spark is available for players to pick up, giving both teams approximately 20 seconds to fight over the spark before either side can pick it up. For 5 seconds after a player picks up the spark, they become marked on both teams' maps. After that, they're only marked on their own team's map unless they are in view of the enemy team. The carrier can only hold onto the spark for 1 minute and 15 seconds. After that, the spark detonates, killing the carrier and those around them before resetting. Should the carrier die in any way that isn't from the spark detonating, the spark drops at that location. If a player picks up the spark whilst in their super, they are immediately pulled out of their super. Furthermore, they will not gain any more super energy whilst holding the spark, and will be unable to use their super even if it is fully charged. If a player dies, they must wait 10 seconds before respawning, but their teammates can revive them during this time. This forces players to focus on teamwork to help push up on their enemies, but can also leave some players out of the game for an extended duration if their team can't or won't revive them.
Delightful!
And one final time this season, Trials of Osiris Dominion will be back at the weekend, bringing with it a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the Lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake Exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory Exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey Exotic Sparrow, and your last chance to grab the Trial Shader, Glorious Patina. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high-stakes game mode with a twist of a capture point. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head-to-head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to shelf their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought-after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked through a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials of Osiris will grant exclusive weapons, armour, pinnacle gear, masterwork materials and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
This final week should see double XP across all playlists, to help you round out those reward tracks and secure your loot. Also, don't forget, with us moving into the final week of the season, this is your reminder to start collecting all of your Season of the Deep Pass items, any items left over from Season of Defiance Season Pass items from Bungie.net, plus your reward track items and engrams from Banshee44, the Gunsmith, Shaxx, Crucible, Zavala, Vanguard, Drifter, Gambit, and Saint 14 Trials. Grab these before the end of the season as they will reset and you will lose all items when the new season starts. Don't forget, you can also start hoarding those bounties to get a leg up on XP and artifact progression for next season. And that's it for the 13th week of Season of the Deep.
Guardian down.
Well, I do have a couple of videos that I can recommend that aren't people raging about Bungie and the game. So
they're no fun.
get ready for this. Yeah, get ready to go and have some fun, because you too can learn about some PvP stuff with our good friend Sreddy Spooks, who's got episode 2 of his PvP school out that you can go and check out, and the best crafted weapon XP farm / glitch from Fallout Plays. Now, this goes back to what they found. I think it was a Cheese Forever video when we had the solstice around and people were finding the best way to get the silver leaves. And it's basically the first mission from Lightfall and saving the checkpoint. So you do need another person, but Fallout goes over it and how to kind of do it again. And it gives you something like 39% on each, on your crafted weapon, on your progress for it. So if you're trying to level those up to level 17, I think is the max to unlock all the points on those weapons, load yourself up with 3 craftable weapons and go to town with a friend and get them unlocked. So there you go. 2 videos this week. 1 PvP, 1 PvE. Done. Parody, you did mention you had something.
I've got 2 videos and a channel for you. So the first video is, I will give myself credit, is from this week, which is the top 0.1% Gambit experience, which apparently YouTube, listened to me moaning from Ship-It9, who basically, if you want to go see someone go into Gambit, get 98 defeats, 69 motes banked, nice, 5 Guardian kills, and do 52% of boss DPS, here you go. So if you want to know how the Gambit mains play the Gambit the best, that's how you do it. And then also, technically from 3 weeks ago, but it's Gambit, which is basically brand new in Gambit time. We have the Destiny 2 Gambit speedrun world record, 2 minutes, 13 seconds, from Wauby, wow. Wauby, which is he brings his team in and they just lay waste to Gambit in speedrun fashion. So, when there's a Gambit video, it's worth talking about because, we get 6 of them here. So we have to dole them out very slowly. And then after I moaned last week about going, listen, Bungie, I don't want to go to the room and play all the recordings for the Veil Containment. If you could just tell me what they are or let me go somewhere to find them. There is a YouTube channel called Destiny Lore Vault. So youtube.com/@Destiny Lore Vault. I don't think it's an official thing from Bungie, so who knows how long it'll be around. But it's, they say it's a channel designed primarily for archiving secondary sources to support and provide other community-fueled sites like the Ishtar Commander and Destinypedia with sources. And they have basically lore from different parts of the game. Most importantly for me, the Veil Containment recordings in a playlist where I could just sit and listen to all the Veil Containment recordings. But they also have all the voice lines from Bonfire Bash and other activities. So basically they're essentially recording like the lore bits from different missions and playthroughs. Basically the in-game recordings, sticking those on YouTube as just that, again, as a resource for the other sites to reference. Again, it's not an official Bungie thing, so who knows how long it'll stay around for, but it's nice that it's there, and I was able to go catch up on all my Veil Containment without having to load into the game and stand in a room and listen to the recordings. So, much nicer way to do it. And cool. That's it. Everyone else is just unhappy about things.
Well, I think that's the end of the show. So I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Noble, for coming on this week and going over some of his views that he was chatting about in the Discord servers.
Cheers for having me up.
That's okay. So next time you have some views, you're more than welcome to come on and discuss them with us.
Thank you. I'll be quieter next time to not send respawn on rants.
That's fine. You can take respawn
There's
on.
no way to avoid that, sir. That's a feature that comes out of the box with your standard respawn model.
Mm-hmm. Especially if he's been off his game for a couple of weeks, he has to bring it back.
Yeah. The people haven't gotten their dose of vitriol and rage, except for everywhere else online right now about Destiny. So I don't know where people have gone, except literally everywhere.
Yes, other people are doing my job for me, man. What am I going to do?
You've been Sherlock
by
the entire community.
Thank you, Noble, for coming on. And when your charity event is coming up, please let us know so that we can remember to tell people that you've got a charity event coming up that we can kind of get behind and help support you.
We can
Thank you
post
very much.
links. We can get
Absolutely.
videos if you got videos. Like if you got videos of the last one, we can check that out.
I don't actually ever record anything. I put it on a stream and walk away and forget.
Okay.
No, we've got it on a video.
Yeah,
on the
you know,
channel.
maybe
Oh,
some
have you
clips
got
be
one?
like, here's what happened
Yeah.
last time. Here's what's happening this time. I don't know what I'm saying because I'm tired and I'm passing out. So,
Well, we'll let Respawn go pass out, and I will both remind you that if you too would like to get access to our secret Patreon Discord, or just say, I enjoy these guys talking at me about this game obsessively for hours and hours every single week, you too could go to patreon.com/TTAH, and you can out-threaten us with a good time like Zep Orbit can. You could join our Otter Dance Troupe as Mel O'Malley, BHS Nightcrawler, the Scarlet Cam, and the one and only T-Rex King, who I'm sure is sitting in the Twitch channel right now, being very thankful that Respawn is back to bring him all the live podcast this week.
Yep.
You too could throw more grenades, like Carver 2782, Golden God 1562, Basically Salt, Zombie Pops, Renard Calant, or the one and only Noble, who is here with us this week. Not just throwing grenades, also throwing good opinions out at us. And finally, we have Deacon's Day 1 raid team that she is painstakingly prepared and put together, consisting of PP Pipe, Dimwee, the Drifters Driftwood, Space Coin, and Damn House. I didn't know if you all knew you were the Day 1 raid team, but you got to get ready because you got one coming up. And Deacon is a very exacting taskmistress. So she expects
whips, chains, everything. Oh,
That reminds me, I've got to get some stuff out for tonight.
That reminds me, I'm really glad I am really sleeping in Demon's bed.
And that reminds me that it's time to go. So thank you for joining us. Your Titans are parody a night team, and your hunter is no one response in real life. Your Noble Warlock is the one and only Noble. If you have opinions, you can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. We're also on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere is Two Titans and a Hunter. You can find us. I believe in you. You have the power. You can find this show wherever you find your podcasts, and I mean that. Wherever you find them, there we are. The lovely little neon dragons staring at you. Follow us on YouTube to get each new episode, weekly update, and all the live streams. If you want to know what Shaded One has for you, Night Team has got a video for that. If you want to know what's happening next week, Night Team has got a video for that. You can go to twotitansandahunter.com to get this show and all these show notes we keep talking about. Or if you say, didn't you mention that thing? Or there was that video you had? Or there was that website you talked about? twotitansandahunter.com. All the show notes for every episode we've ever done are there. If you want to join the Otter Dance Troupe, threaten us with a good time, throw more grenades, and hang out in our top secret Discord Patreon, patreon.com/TTAH. If you just want to toss some dollars or, pounds or coin our way, coffee.com, ko-fi.com/twotitansandahunter. And if you want the thrill of live action, spicy language, and oftentimes a live uncut version of the show that is not family friendly. I won't say family hostile, but it's certainly not family friendly. Twitch.tv/no-one-response in real life. There may or may not be topless women there. It's hard to say. You'll just have to subscribe to find out. And if you want to keep it family friendly, like a proper British gentleman, twitch.tv/twotitansandahunter. And I'll tell you when they stream, you go to those places, you hit the button, you hit the subscribe, you hit the bell, and it'll say, hey, they've gone live. And then you'll know. And then you'll be able to participate. And then you'll have good times. And if you want we noble, we noble. Which one are you? Are you noble or are you we noble?
I used to be we noble, but then obviously when I got the ability to change my Bungie ID, I just dropped the we.
So you're no longer we. You've grown now.
You're noble. I am big now.
Excellent.
So if
you would like the noble to drag you through things, go find him online and say, take me through things, and he'll do it. Trust me. He has no choice.
He's kind of bored. He's wanted to do pretty much anything.
I'll do anything. I'm still waiting for. I think it's Donnie that messaged me the other day asking me to help 2 people get their new stasis scout rifle. And I'm still waiting for them.
See, Donnie, stop slacking. He's waiting for you. Give him a ring, bud.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And
before we go,
Nope. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say before we go, I need some feedback on moving forward. Is it better to have Lord respawn or King respawn? Just asking for a friend, mostly. So give us feedback on that, and thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
And some portion of us will see you next week.
Yeah. Deuces.
Deuces.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
But that's the crazy thing. Like in America, I think I've told you guys. Have you guys been to Europe? In Europe, it's exactly opposite of America.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Have you been to Europe?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that no fewer than 50% of the people in this Discord channel right now have been to Europe.
No. You guys specifically, because you say something changed in the world, right? Well, the thing that I've always found fascinating is America. You know, we're like, violence is okay. Violence in TV, violence in cartoons, violence in commercials. Violence is okay. But nudity, no. Can't have any nudity. Nudity's bad. But in Europe, it's the opposite. Nudity, perfectly fine. It's completely natural. Everybody's nude, nothing to hide. Violence is bad, right?
No, but where's he getting this
I
information?
don't know. I was thinking that, but yeah.
Have either ever been to Europe? 19 Noble, have you guys ever been to Europe?
Unfortunately, I think I missed the episodes of Scooby-Doo that he's talking about.
No, don't give me that crap. I've been to Spain and Romania, and hell, in Romania, during the summer, women walk around the streets topless. Okay? And there's no laws against it. You know, they have topless beaches. What was the country that was famous for weed being legal? Starts with an N.
The Netherlands? Amsterdam, because of Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, yeah. So when I was there, I was in a restaurant, a family sit-down restaurant, where the menu is written on topless women. So yeah, I stand by what I said. Okay, and don't come at me with what's a Scooby-Doo episode. All right.
Yeah, but you've named 2 parts of Europe. Do you know how many different parts of Europe there is?
Spain, when I was in Spain, well, it's still Europe, is it not? And when I was in Spain, I would watch the morning news, and the newscaster, as she's giving me the weather, is stripping down. Okay?
So
those are channels that you do have to pay for, Respawn.
No, this is public TV.
So we do appreciate that Respawn gets all of his news from some level of topless women. That's what I'm learning today. Is Respawn only gets news from topless women. So if you're trying to talk to Respawn,
I mean,
if
there
you're
are worse
woman,
let's be honest, okay?
I'm just still stuck on you asking if anyone's ever been to Europe, as we're talking to 2 people that while I don't know in
doesn't
person,
count as Europe. Britain succeeded from Europe. We all know that. Okay.
Europe and the European Union are different things.
Yeah.
They didn't pick up the island. They didn't pick up the island and move it offshore more and say we're going to put big giant hovercraft style fans on this.
But we all know if they could, they would. Okay.
I'm not so sure.
And they will have localized subtitles available for the following languages on these channels: French, German, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, and Korean.
Will they have both an American, a British, and an Australian English channel? Because they put out trailers that specify the different Englishes, and I'm not sure why.
To be honest, Parody, I'm wondering if Europe gets a different version of the live stream.
Maybe they get a topless version.
I want to see a topless version.
I mean, I can work something out. I don't know if y'all want a topless version, but I mean, I can work something out.
Well, look, I think we could start an OnlyFans. If you want to see a topless version of the Bungie showcase where Respawn is topless, I'm sure we could work things out.
I'll put a pole behind me.
The true hunter is going to take a pole. Brilliant.
Right.